into government. The Prime Minister said, we must be accountable to the people who elected us into government. And that is why we are reporting to you tonight, whether it's in the sphere of national security. Give it up for our brother Wayne Sturge, and now joining him, Roger Alexander, the member for Tunapuna. Whether it's our sister who finds herself in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure like Eli Zakur from 4M, the indomitable Jerlene John. One of the most important men, and listen, I'm making a plug tonight. I'm making a plug for Cuba South and public utilities. That is the Minister of Finance, our chairman, Mr. Dave Tanku. But when the Honorable Prime Minister told us, serve the people, she told us, she said, listen, I want to hear what you have done. Show me what you have done. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Tell me what you have done. Brothers and sisters, today, you look across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, and you see your government hard at work. First, tonight, I want to report to you as your leader of government business in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The first bill to be brought after 10 years, the Honorable Prime Minister and myself will go to the Parliament ever so often, pleading with the PNM, please put the welfare of our children first. One of our speakers told us tonight, and again the PNMers get vexed when we say two things. When we call Kamla Pasabi Sessa the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago, which she is royal, she is the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago. But also when we say she's the mother of the nation, only a mother knows the pain to see a child lying in a hospital bed and not being able to do anything for them. Prime Minister Kamla Pasabi Sessa, the first bill, aided and abetted by our Attorney General, the man who's taking the war to the PNM, Mr. John Jeremy, said the Children's Life Fund Amendment Bill. First bill in Parliament. The second bill, saving thousands of jobs by rescinding the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. We have now strengthened the Board of Inland Revenue, therefore increasing our revenue generating and collection. Brothers and sisters, they didn't like it. We didn't take them on. Because on April 28th, you didn't give us one seat. You gave us 26 as the UNC, and you gave us 2 with our brothers from Tobago. Give it up for our brothers, our 2 brothers in the Parliament from Tobago. They're looking on. One of them is here tonight with us. But the Prime Minister's pension bill, ensuring that we safeguarded the taxpayers of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, ensuring that whether you served 1 day, you served 100 days, your pension will be determined by how long you serve and not who you know and who know you. Days with that type of politics are long over. But brothers and sisters, the PNM has moved from the People's National Movement to the PIP. You hear that? From the PNM to the PIP. You see, it's no longer the People's National Movement, it's the PIP, penny in pajamas. PIP, penny in pajamas. I tell you, we beg and we bowed out here in the UNC. When you touch our political leader, you touch every single one of us. For 10 years, she had nothing to say on crime. She sat in the cabinet for 5 years. They gave her big ambassador work in New York. Had nothing to say on crime. Had nothing to say on the state of the country, your roads, your social security. Today she wants to talk about Kamla asleep at the wheel, and you cannot find Kamla. I will tell you, the political leader is very much present. She's very much working, and we are getting the job done. Brothers and sisters, that is why tonight I can tell you in WASA, the first 100 days of the WASA Evolution Plan marked a transformative period of accelerated action, strategic alignment, and measurable progress across the authority. Under the leadership of the Executive Evolution Plan, this is what we have done in just short 3 months. We rescinded the WASA transformation plan on May 15th, saving over 3,000 jobs inside of WASA. 1,200 daily pay jobs, 1,700 monthly pay jobs. That is what you voted us into office to do. We reorganized the executive structure where they had 36 people hand-selected by the PNM. We have now reduced that to 9 persons, saving the authority $30 million annually. Listen, Prime Minister is telling me, she said, you're doing good. There's water in Pinal, there's water in Debe, there's water in Kumoto, there's water in Cubasao, but you must do better. You must do better. We have commissioned the Pluck Road 1,600-mile main improving level of service from 1 in 9 days. This is what we inherited. The people of Pinal are just as important as the people in Westmoreland. And we moved it from 1 in 9 days to 3 days per week to 9,000 customers in Separia, in Pinal, in Barrackpore. Michelle, where are you? In Maruga, Tableland, where you were not getting water for over a month. Things have improved. But the Prime Minister said, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. The ramp-up of production of the Navet water treatment plant from 17.48 to 19.60. The IMGD, in addition to approximately 0.34 on IMGD from the Carapal wells from where down Minister Elder is, the number 4 and number 5 has added approximately 2.46 IMGD to the supply zone. Maracas up in the north, we did not forget you. We were not working in South Trinidad alone like the PNM. Maracas Bay communities, including Grand Fond, Fishing Village, Hamilton Trace, moved from 2 days in every 2 weeks to 5 days per week now. That is performance. That is delivery. That is your United National Congress government. We have increased water supply and distribution through infrastructural changes in many parts of the country. We have kicked off and continued the WASA facilities and community tours with engagement, partnered with several of the regional corporations, improved customer confidence from community outreach program, as evidenced by an additional $4.5 million in revenue collection, underscoring its effectiveness. Brothers and sisters, it was a vision of the Honorable Prime Minister that while we acknowledge 100 days of having been elected into government, the Prime Minister said, we must be accountable to the people who elected us into government. And that is why we are reporting to you tonight, whether it's in the sphere of national security. Give it up for our brother Wayne Sturge, and now joining him, Roger Alexander, the member for Tunapuna. Whether it's our sister who finds herself in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure like Eli Zakur from 4M, the indomitable Jerlene John. One of the most important men, and listen, I'm making a plug tonight. I'm making a plug for Cuba South and public utilities. That is the Minister of Finance, our chairman, Mr. Dave Tanku. But when the Honorable Prime Minister told us, serve the people, she told us, she said, listen, I want to hear what you have done. Show me what you have done. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Tell me what you have done. Brothers and sisters, today, you look across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, and you see your government hard at work. First, tonight, I want to report to you as your leader of government business in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The first bill to be brought after 10 years, the Honorable Prime Minister and myself will go to the Parliament ever so often, pleading with the PNM, please put the welfare of our children first. One of our speakers told us tonight, and again the PNMers get vexed when we say two things. When we call Kamla Pasabi Sessa the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago, which she is royal, she is the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago. But also when we say she's the mother of the nation, only a mother knows the pain to see a child lying in a hospital bed and not being able to do anything for them. Prime Minister Kamala Pasabi says that the first bill, aided and abetted by our Attorney General, the man who's taking the war to the PNM, Mr. John Jeremy, said the Children's Life and Amendment Bill. First bill in Parliament. The second bill, saving thousands of jobs by rescinding the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. We have now strengthened the Board of Inland Revenue, therefore increasing our revenue generating and collection. Brothers and sisters, they didn't like it. We didn't take them on. Because on April 28th, you didn't give us one seat. You gave us 26 as the UNC, and you gave us 2 with our brothers from Tobago. Give it up for our brothers, our 2 brothers in the Parliament from Tobago. They're looking on. One of them is here tonight with us. But the Prime Minister's pension bill, ensuring that we safeguarded the taxpayers of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, ensuring that whether you served 1 day, you served 100 days, your pension will be determined by how long you serve and not who you know and who know you. Days with that type of politics are long over. But brothers and sisters, the PNM has moved from the People's National Movement to the PIP. You hear that? From the PNM to the PIP. You see, it's no longer the People's National Movement, it's the PIP, penny in pajamas. PIP, penny in pajamas. I tell you, we beg and we bowed out here in the UNC. When you touch our political leader, you touch every single one of us. For 10 years, she had nothing to say on crime. She sat in the cabinet for 5 years. They gave her big ambassador work in New York. Had nothing to say on crime. Had nothing to say on the state of the country, your roads, your social security. Today she wants to talk about Kamala asleep at the wheel, and you cannot find Kamala. I will tell you, the political leader is very much present. She's very much working, and we are getting the job done. Brothers and sisters, that is why tonight I can tell you in WASA, the first 100 days of the WASA Evolution Plan marked a transformative period of accelerated action, strategic alignment, and measurable progress across the authority. Under the leadership of the Executive Evolution Plan, this is what we have done in just short 3 months. We rescinded the WASA Transformation Plan on May 15th, saving over 3,000 jobs inside of WASA. 1,200 daily pay jobs, 1,700 monthly pay jobs. That is what you voted us into office to do. We reorganized the executive structure where they had 36 people hand-selected by the PNM. We have now reduced that to 9 persons, saving the authority $30 million annually. Listen, Prime Minister is telling me, she said, you're doing good. There's water in Pinal, there's water in Debe, there's water in Kumoto, there's water in Cubasao, but you must do better. You must do better. We have commissioned the Pluck Road 1,600-mile main improving level of service from 1 in 9 days. This is what we inherited. The people of Pinal are just as important as the people in Westmoreland. And we moved it from 1 in 9 days to 3 days per week to 9,000 customers in Separia, in Pinal, in Barakpo. Michelle, where you in Maruga Tableland, where you were not getting water for over a month. Things have improved. But the Prime Minister said, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. The ramp up of production of the Navet water treatment plant from 17.48 to 19.60. The IMGD, in addition to approximately 0.34 IMGD from the Carapal wells from where down Minister Elder is. The number 4 and number 5 has added approximately 2.46 IMHGD to the supply zone. Maracas up in the north, we did not forget you. We were not working in South Trinidad alone like the PNM. Maracas Bay communities, including Grand Fond, Fishing Village, Hamilton Trace, moved from 2 days in every 2 weeks to 5 days per week now. That is performance. That is delivery. That is your United National Congress government. We have increased water supply and distribution through infrastructural changes in many parts of the country. We have kicked off and continued the WASA facilities and community tours with engagement, partnered with several of the regional corporations, improved customer confidence from community outreach program, as evidenced by an additional 4.5 million in revenue collection, underscoring its effectiveness. What that then means is that we are moving WASA out of the red, ensuring that we are making collections based on the supply that you are receiving in your taps. The establishment of wastewater service division. The establishment which is mandated to reduce the risk of discharge fees and improve response to sewer system overflows. Saving from the avoidance of a $35 million US discharge fee from BTM. The former government sat on their hands. The Prime Minister said, get out there and work. We were able to save that BTM wastewater management project a fee of $35 million US by our immediate intervention over the last week. I want to thank the same staff that we inherited from WASA. I want to thank them for the productivity levels that we are seeing because of the change in management style inside of WASA. Brothers and sisters, many of you are asking when you will get lights on your ground. I can tell you we have approved the lights in the ground for Toko Sandy Grande. Are you in the house? We have approved 6 grounds in the constituency of Separia. We have approved grounds for lighting recreation use in the constituency of Cuba South. You have suffered for too long. We have approved it in the constituency of La Joqueta Talparo. Our brother, Roger Alexander, I want to say how very proud I was yesterday when you stood alongside myself, Minister Elder Palsek Sam. We went there in 24 hours or less. When the abbot of the monastery at Mount St. Benedict told us the abbey almost caught on fire because for 2 years they were knocking on the door of the government and they got no response. We were there. Your government is present, directed by the Honorable Prime Minister to find ourselves there and bring relief to that situation. I want to thank Roger and others. On Thursday, we have not forgotten our young people, because when the UNC wins, everybody wins. 600 young people will receive an internship based on the strategic direction of the Honorable Prime Minister. Prime Minister said TSCT can't be about cricket. It can't be about carnival. All that is good. But you must also invest in the future of our young people. On Thursday at 1 p.m., the Prime Minister has invited all 600 interns to the Prime Minister's residence and diplomatic center, where she will launch that program, empowering 600 young, brilliant minds, giving them opportunity. So when we tell you we are not about a country of grass cutters, we are about a country of creating real, tangible benefit and opportunity. Brothers and sisters, before I go tonight, I want to make one last point, and it has to do with CPEP. I want to say a few words, but I want to give Faris Al-Rawi some advice. I want to tell him, move, Satan, move. Move! Move, Satan, move! We are in government now, and let us pass. We will do the job of the people. Tonight I want to tell you that I hold a document in my hand. For all the PNM trolls and others who are saying, oh, they ain't called no police. They ain't called no investigation. Tonight I can confirm to you, and Faris Al-Rawi, put it in your pipe and smoke it. I can confirm to you that the Registrar Marshal of the Supreme Court, Judiciary of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, has indicated on today's date at 2:38 p.m. Please note that the order to provide the documents to the Director of Public Prosecutions was compiled on Friday, 8 August. Acknowledgement of receipt was received on the said day from the DPP's Secretariat. We have said to you, the Prime Minister has said to you, we have court clothes, and we put on them court clothes, and we will see you in court. We'll see you in court. Brothers and sisters, please note that the order to provide the documents to the Director of Public Prosecutions was compiled on Friday. It went to the DPP's Secretariat. The DPP acknowledged receipt of it. This means that the fraud perpetuated on CPEP, which caused it to extend over 300 contracts at a whopping cost of $1.4 billion without cabinet approval, will now be the subject of a criminal investigation. Let me remind you what the facts are in this matter. Former chairman of CPEP, PNM chairman Joel Edwards, submitted a board note dated 23 April 2025, asking the board to ratify a cabinet decision for the extension of all CPEP contracts. The board note reads as follows. The matter for ratification of the board of directors of the CPEP Company Limited is the extension of contracts to core contractors, key personnel and operational services. In and around March 2025, the CEO and chairman engaged in discussions which proposed the extension of contracts with the intention to ensure business continuity across key operations within the company. Following these discussions, the chairman advised that the proposal, this is a PNM chairman, follow carefully, advised that the proposal was considered by cabinet, the PNM cabinet, in 2017, and that cabinet had agreed to the proposed extension of contracts across the company. Brothers and sisters, we have searched all the cabinet documents. The Prime Minister tells you, you hear lie? You hear lie? You hear lie? That is lie. In light of the cabinet's decision, the board is asked to ratify the implementation of extensions to CPEP core contractors, key personnel and operational services for a maximum period of 3 years. That was the recommendation. CEO Keith Eddy, who served under the PNM and who is serving under our administration, gave clear and compelling evidence to the court that Chairman Joel Edwards had categorically stated, hear this one, that the PNM chairman had categorically stated that line minister, who was the line minister? Faris Al-Rawi, had told him that cabinet had approved the extension of the contracts. Edwards signed the board note, which was drafted on his instruction and clearly records this fact. Brothers and sisters, Edwards now claims it was an error. So they get caught with their pants down, and they now say it was what? An error. And that a new board note was supposed to have been prepared and circulated. He says he's searching his records, but he cannot, poor fella. He's searching his records, but he cannot find that new board note. Mind you, this is not documents from 10 years ago, but rather documents from a week before the general election. 1 week before the general election, they can't find the documents. He, however, maintains that the board note was technically correct because of a 2017 cabinet decision, and cleverly claims that he did not have any conversations with Al-Rawi about a recent cabinet decision. Brothers and sisters, there's a lot more that we can say about this. But I've noticed and I've taken note, and our lawyers, let's give it up for former Attorney General, great lawyer Anna Ramlogan. Shout out to Anna tonight for bringing home that victory in the CPEP matter. You see, We have taken note that former Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi, the line minister, is depending on a 27 cabinet note, where he's saying these were the recommendations and cabinet agreed and so on. 2017 cabinet note. But you see, for those of us who spend plenty time in the cabinet, instead of recusing ourselves because we have rentals and other interests, we pay attention to what's going on in the cabinet. Because when you pass a matter in the cabinet, there's also, the next week, a cabinet minute confirming what you passed. We will speak more about this, but I can tell you categorically, former Attorney General Al-Rawi is depending on a 2017 cabinet note. I want to tell him, go and read the cabinet minute. As a present to him, I will send him a copy of the cabinet minute, because it is not reflective of what the note is saying. Instead, the note and minute that Al-Rawi is depending on would have sent home over 7,000 workers of CPEP in 2017. He tell you that they were intending on sending home over 7,000 CPEP workers, that they were intending on sending home over 200 CPEP contractors. They are only telling you half the story. But as I told you tonight, the reason why we are here is the Honorable Prime Minister told us, stand up and be accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, will you stand with us? Will you stand with our great Prime Minister? Will you stand with your party? Let me see you standing, your thousands here assembled in Cooperstown tonight. Forward ever, backward never. Forward ever, backward never. When the UNC wins, everybody. When the UNC wins, everybody. When the UNC wins, everybody. I thank you. God bless you.
Just now, I got a text message saying Minister Padat is over 10 minutes beyond his time. You need to stop him. But I know which battles to fight. That is what battle we are fighting. That is my line minister. And with a delivery like that, it would have been wicked of me to stop him while he was in mid-flight. We were taken off by a pilot. So the pilot took us off. Minister Padat took us to just beyond or just before cruising altitude. So now we are at the point where the real pilot of this UNC plane will now take command of this plane and take us to our destination. Couva South. I want you to assist Swappy and I in welcoming the greatest Prime Minister this country has ever seen, the mother of this nation, the Queen of the land, the Honorable Hamla Usad Bisesa SC. Let's hear for Swappy.
Yeah. June. USC. Yeah. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Hey, where's the flash? There we go. This is our life. This is our culture. We are a people coming together. This is our place. This is our land. We have a plan. Let's take a stand, yeah. If I just want you to wave them flags so. Pump it up, pump it up. This is our home. And you will see how make things right. Yeah. No. If you love Auntie Kamla, from the left to the right, in the center, pump it up. If you feel it, use it, use it, use it. If you feel it in your heart and you feel it in your faith, let us all unite and rise, rise. Let's to form a new start. Spread love, no more pain. Let us all unite and rise, rise. Make it happen, Trinidad. Make it happen, Tobago. You want to the universe, make it happen, let's be wise. This is right, we will rise, rise.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisasa!
Wow, thank you. Give it up to Swapi, please. Thank you, Swapi. Thank you so much. As you know, today is World Steel Pan Day. So I want you to give it up to the group has joined us. Barry, thank you for organizing. We wish them a very happy World Steel Pan Day. And to all you beautiful people here tonight, friends and family of the UNCs, I say, good evening. Big it up for Jack Warner, man. I haven't seen him for a while. All the MPs, ministers are here with us this evening. Local government personnel, activists, I say again, gathered here in large numbers. And, of course, all those who are locked on to various streaming devices. We say again, good evening and welcome to 100 days plus. Tonight, our report is not just 100 days, it is 100 days plus. Because after 100 days, it'll be 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 365 days together. We will rise together. We will. So, beloved rank and file members of the UNC, citizens of TNT joining us across the many streaming platforms, I say again, good night to one and all. Thank you for your ongoing support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your strength. And just thank you for being alive today. Give praise and thanks to the good Lord for you and those of your family members who are still here with us. Just over 100 years ago, 100 days ago, all of you in our nation, you placed your trust in me and the UNC coalition. You put us back into government with an overwhelming mandate. And so we went to work from the very first day, tirelessly in your service. My ministers, I thank them who spoke tonight for sharing some of the things they've done. 100 days seems like a short time, but they've done so much, so give it up again to our team. We have a great team. I don't know if the AG will forgive me, but he just whispered to me something. Can I say it? Sure. He said, I sit at your cabinet table, Madam Prime Minister. And I used to sit at a cabinet table with another Prime Minister. He said, but the men and women you have in your cabinet, they are second to none. It is the best team that you have put together. So, in our first 100 days, we have begun to turn the tide calmly, lawfully, decisively, protecting families, restoring fairness, strengthening safety, and opening doors of opportunity. You're going a bit too fast. Thank you. Cindy's helping me with the prompter, but she's going faster than I can speak. So I'm asking her to please slow down. So we did our work. We are opening doors of opportunity. And I want to tell you something. 100 days. The amount that has been done by my government. I want you to remember If you take 9 years, I'll be fair and say 9 years of the former administration, and you multiply that by 365 days, 9 years, 3,285 days of that destructive government. We are here for 100 days, not the 3,000 plus. And so much has been done, and so much more is left to be done. Over the past week, I mandated that every minister, every MP submit a comprehensive report of their first 100 days to my desk, detailing the work they did, the achievements, what they delivered, projects launched, and the timelines ahead. And I say thank to them. Each minister will be accountable directly to the population for their performance over that 100 days. No one, and I say no one, is going to be allowed to hide behind me if they do not perform. Every man and woman in this government will have to face you, will have to face our citizens and explain their actions or their inactions. I am done carrying water for everyone else. You wanted a job, they wanted a job, then do your job. I call upon you, do your jobs. Do your jobs. And if you would ask yourself how TNT reached our current state, where it is listed as one of the world's most dangerous countries, one of the answers would be criminal enterprise was funded to the tune of billions of dollars. Criminal enterprise, billions of dollars. Consider that billions of dollars over many years went straight into the hands of criminals, gangs, corrupt politicians, and corrupt businessmen. Today, it is a well-entrenched mafia holding our nation to ransom. This is further worsened by the past administration's open and unbridled embrace of Venezuelan immigrants who poured across our borders, land and sea and air, and numbered amongst those were gang members, human traffickers, pimps, high-powered weaponry, a well-organized criminal enterprise. That is what they allowed for the last 10 years. There was no attempt by our predecessors to sift through immigrants who were legitimately fleeing conditions in Venezuela from those who came here with criminal intent. The stoppage of CPEP and the recalibration of URP for investigation and review has unearthed a resistance that reaches far and wide into the deep state. The resistance from the belly of the underworld has begun, and they intend to utilize every device, every connection, every resource at their disposal to counter the dismantling of this criminal enterprise. Understand that? They will hire lawyers. They will use their political proxies. They will call in favors from influential business people and their media contacts. And they will resort to going after anyone who leads or is involved in this crackdown, as they can see the beginning of their end has begun. They have already made threats to Khadija, to Firoz, to Barry. But I say never fear, because Kamala is here. Never fear. Never fear. Reform has real human costs. I will not pretend this is painless, and I will not leave you to carry it alone. The purpose is clear. We must end state-sponsored criminality. We must rebuild and provide sustainable, dignified work with good wages. We must protect the many from the few who profit from chaos. In URP, we have suspended offenders. We have implemented new oversight and tightened protocols to ensure that the program remains honest. Our approach is practical and humane. Immediate cushioning we will provide. We'll fast-track eligibility for social assistance grants and temporary wage support. We must build bridges back to work. There must be priority placement into public and private jobs and training to upgrade skills or start small businesses. We must reorganize. That is a cleanup. We must have reorganized programs. There must be merit and not muscle. There must be community value, not political patronage. We must have transparent rosters and audits of all these programs that each can have equal benefits. That is this cleanup. Short-term hardship, maybe, but we must do it to prevent long-term harm. We must provide a clear path back to safety, to fairness, to dignity for honest workers. I make no apology for saying we have become a nation of grass cutters. Some people became upset about that. But if people are shouting the loudest, ask them if they will send their child to cut grass. Ask them if they want their grandchildren cutting grass. And that is what we in the UNC is about, to provide honest, sustainable work for as many as we can. Barry mentioned the internship we are doing for hundreds of students through the state enterprise, a TSTT. My vision is that every one of these enterprises, including the private sector businesses, should bring in our young ones for internships during the vacation when they're home for months. So they'll know what is work, they'll know what is discipline, and above all, they will have hope for a better life when they graduate. There are those who say the state of emergency is something designed to track people. Yes, it is. It is designed to hunt down and take out the criminals from harming you. That's what it's about. There was a real threat. A state of emergency, elsewhere it is known as a state of exception. It is necessary because these are indeed exceptional circumstances we find ourselves in. You hear all kinds of criticism about it, mainly from those who either have an agenda or have a vested interest in seeing the situation remain the same. You'll hear about the trampling of rights as we work to remove the criminal elements. Then what about your rights? What about the fundamental rights of law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? So we have the SOE, a state of exceptional circumstances, to make sure that you, law-abiding citizens, that you are safe and secure, and your families are safe. You will listen to them. They scream from high heaven, wailing and gnashing their teeth that we are going after specific sectors of the community and how they are not being afforded their rights. Well, as Barry told you, I always say, you hear lying? That is lying. That is lying. We are about safeguarding the law-abiding citizens of our country. And therefore, if some rights have to be, conscripted, they're not taken away. They still have access to the courts. They still have access to the lawyers. They still got their family members to visit them. Those who are locked behind bars, they're not losing rights. Their rights remain. They're conscripted rights, but the rights of the majority far outbalance the criminal elements in our country. So listen, all of you who live a law-abiding life, you have nothing to fear. Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. But those bent on living a life of crime will feel the wrath of the population because you have had enough and you are now empowered by a government with the political will, determination, and competence to deal with the scourge upon our society. So while we can all expect the beginning of the end of crime in TNT, to meet heavy resistance, I ask you to have the toughness. I ask you to have the stability against the battery of attacks that criminals will come with their brutishness and vicious enterprises, the likes of which you have never seen. We will remain strong. We will remain firm. And will you stand with us? Will you stand your ground against the criminals and against criminal enterprise in our land? Understand, it is necessary to reclaim your safe space. It took 5 years for El Salvador to transform from one of the most dangerous countries in the Western Hemisphere to what it is today, one of the safest in the Western Hemisphere. It took them 5 years. On the other hand, a country like Ecuador, which was once one of the safest and most peaceful places in Latin America, has now become one of the most dangerous in just 1 year. In just 1 year. So understand, which path do we choose? Which roadway do we follow? We campaigned on a simple pledge: safety first. In our first 100 days, we acted precisely, lawfully, and for you, the people of our land. We used a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. We used a narrow, time-bound state of emergency to disrupt organized violence at its source, backed by Parliament and the courts. Regulations were published on July 18 of this year, 2025. Detention facilities were designated as Tetron Barracks and Strawberries Bay. And between July 26 and August 3rd, 38 preventive detention orders signed with the guidance of the AG, the Minister of Homeland Security, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of Defense. These orders were put in place to preempt violent crimes before they reached your streets. The question you ask is the only one that matters. Are you safer today? Are you safer today? And that answer has to be yes, because the facts tell us yes. According to the latest data, homicides, murders, I think Minister Serge tried to use his last few minutes to give us the murder numbers in the PNM Times. Today, just about 100 days in office, the murder rate is down by 34%. These are the facts. Facts do not lie. Facts do not lie. We did as we promised in so many ways. Other speakers have shared with you. Legislatively, we had a short window of time for the Parliament before the Parliament went into recess. We didn't lose it. We used it. We used it, as Barry shared with us, to bring the first bill. I'm so proud. In 2010, my first bill was a Children's Life Fund. And in 2025, when you returned me, my first bill in the Parliament, again, was to amend the Children's Life Fund. So several pieces of legislation in those few short days. And when we go back out in September, when the Parliament recess ends, we have laws, legislation already being drafted, been having a consultation, stand your ground laws, as you know. But the office of the CPC is very busy in the AG's office drafting more legislation, because we need the laws to amend or to create new laws to properly govern in the best interest of everyone. I kept my promise. I spec the all super Ministry of National Security into several ministries, as you now know. Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, give him a round of applause. Ministry of Defense, Minister Sturge. Ministry of Justice, Devish Barraj. Ministry of Legal Affairs, Saddam Hussein. And of course, much more that we did. We installed for the first time in a decade maybe, a commissioner of police as a substantive commissioner, not an acting commissioner, not picked from a hat or thrown into dump, but he was the #1 recommendee from the Police Service Commission. And we congratulate him for his work. He's very hardworking. And he will get the job done, I have no doubt. There was no politics in that. We installed a commissioner of police. We have an acting prisons commissioner. We have a reconstituted firearm appeal board. We cut off corrupted state programs funding and fueling gangs. 800 SRPs absorbed into the TTPS. 280 auxiliaries into the fire service, and we have much more to do. What this means for you is a clear downward trend in violent crime. We promised to fight crime. We kept that promise, and we just got started. We will continue to do so. We kept that promise. Let me turn now to the economy. We also campaigned on the economy. We inherited a stalled economy and a squeezed household budget. We did not complain. We got to work. Energy back on the rise. Early engagement with operators in the energy sector has resulted in about 10% increase in oil output since we came with the government. We have had discussions with Shell regarding Manatee gas, and that is underway to increase supply and revenues. An expertise-driven team is mapping a phased restart of the Point-to-Pay refinery to create jobs, foreign exchange, and fuel security. The Minister of Energy rescued for you $7 billion. We corrected a problematic production sharing contract clause before first oil was produced to the tune of $7 billion that the former government let it slip. The energy tide is turning, but I want to thank my Minister of Planning, Minister of Finance, and others. We initiated structured dialogues with the IFC, the World Bank, and IDB, targeting US $2 to $5 billion over 3 years for roads, for water, for hospitals, for schools, and for climate resilience, and for jobs, of course. You know that when we said we would do these things, the naysayers, our detractors, where are getting the money? Well, I'm showing you where we'll get the money, because nobody wanted to do business with you. The world is now coming to Trinidad and Tobago to do business, because TNT is open for business. The energy tide, as I say, is turning, and it's turning in your favor. For the first time since 2003, that's about 22 years ago, for the first time, ExxonMobil is coming back to Trinidad and Tobago. We agreed on a prudent phase plan to explore a newly defined ultra-deepwater area known as UD1, ultra-deepwater 1, 7 blocks off the east coast of Trinidad, 2,000 to 3,000 meters deep water. USD1 sits northwest of Guyana's Starbrook block. In plain terms, this represents a significant new frontier that can supply our LNG and petrochemical plants, create good jobs, embrace and enhance our foreign exchange reserves. At the exact completion, tomorrow marks, in fact, the completion of the 100 days in office. Tomorrow. Because the cabinet was sworn in a day after, 2 days after the April 28 election. So, tomorrow, August 12th, exactly 100 days in office, my government will host the largest publicly traded oil and gas company in the world tomorrow, right here in TNT. Tomorrow, Tuesday, August 12th, 2025, We will sign a multi-billion-dollar agreement for ultra-deep sea drilling in our territorial waters. That area has remained unexplored forever. And now they carry enormous potential for capturing hydrocarbon resources. The message of this signing tomorrow is that TNT is open for business and investor confidence has returned and is returning to Trinidad and Tobago. ExxonMobil is projected to incur expenditure at $42.5 million US in this first phase of the project. And in the event of success, the project development costs could range from US $16.4 billion to US $21.7 billion right here in TNT. The benefits arising from this project would be enormous, as deep water exploration has the potential to deliver large volumes at high margins, more than offsetting the handicap of tying up a lot of technical capital and technical challenges. So I tell you tonight, from a resource owner's perspective, the potential revenue contribution would be substantial. And likewise, the in-country spend would benefit our local economy. What this means for you is very simple. In the coming months, in the coming years, more decent jobs from exploration to services, from Point Lisas to the Southland, more reliable fuel and power, supporting lower costs for transport, for businesses and households, stronger foreign exchange to stabilize prices, and support all the essentials that we need to import. So I tell you, there's some who say we should not completely depend on our oil and gas, our energy sector, on the hydrocarbons. But to them I say, our nation has a competitive advantage in the hydrocarbons, in the energy sector, and we should exploit those resources. Don't let those people up in the north tell you, don't do hydrocarbons, because they exploited all of it, built their developed countries in the north, but we down south of the southern hemisphere, we will exploit our hydrocarbons to benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a real plan for the refinery, not just talk. So we will protect national fuel security without wasting money. They sent me a brief recently, Minister Sobers from Foreign Affairs, on the impact of the US tariffs for Trinidad and Tobago. And whilst we are addressing those in several ways, what struck me is they sent me a table containing the balance of trade between the US and Trinidad and Tobago. And on that list, we are importing with hard US currency items that we used to produce at the refinery. Kerosene, jet fuel, other energy products, what you put in your car. We used to produce that. Now we sell our oil and then we buy back the refined products with US dollars. That making any sense to you? We have to get that refinery going. $9 billion in kerosene we imported. $9 billion. When we were producing that here, we had jobs, we had foreign exchange coming out of the refinery. I've put a team in place, energy experts, to get to work as fast as they can. We must get our refinery working again. Confidence is being restored. TNT is open for business again, and the whole world is responding. They're seeking us out. So let's make the place safer as well. Now, I see people going up on TV, and they're showing you two things. Garbage dumped. Who dumping that? Ghosts? is it not human beings dumping in their own neighborhood? I just said to the AG, we had to get back the litter warrants and lock up those people who dumping garbage all over the country. I saw another video, a man walking outside his own front yard and saying, look at grass, look at grass, look at grass. That's in front of your own house. If you cannot clean in front of your own house, heaven help us. Some of us has become too lazy and greedy. Cut the grass in front of your own home. Dump your garbage in the beaten dump or other dumps. Don't drive up on somebody's road and dump in garbage. We are human beings in Trinidad and Tobago, not animals. So clean up your waste. And AG, get the law working. Let's get the litter ones out there. And as the AG always tells us, he says, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. And I'm coming for you, whoever you may be. Dumping all over the country. This is not a dump. So get your act together. So I say, in 100 days, we have begun to put the economy back in gear with discipline, with transparency, with a plan that gives priorities to the ordinary families first. We must have growth, but we must also have guardrails. There must be no reckless spending. There must be no hidden deals. There must be no surprises. Every dollar must pass the spend test for a safer, stronger, and more prosperous Trinidad and Tobago. My friends, this is how we govern. Careful with your money, bold with opportunity, and always focus on how our policy translates into everyday benefits for everyday people. Constituency service. We are a government that answers the phone, and I have a warning for any official of my government. You must give standardized service. MPs maintain weekly office hours. They conduct Saturday site visits. They utilize digital case tracking to ensure your issue doesn't get lost in a filing cabinet. We have already begun consultations and will continue. I've always told you, we listen and then we lead. We listen and then we lead. So whatever we do will be based on your feedback in our consultations. So our approach is national town halls are back. Listening before legislating. Town halls with you before Whitehall. That is my mantra. We will speak with you. Budget consultations, stand your ground consultations are ongoing. And tonight, I'm warning some persons. You know who you are. You're already cavorting with the same crooked contractors and lawyers and P&M financiers and corrupt fake elite. Get yourselves out of that now, because I will come for you. I'll come for you. I'll have the AG backing me up. I will come for you. Stop it. You have already forgotten the loyal rank and file UNC people who worked hard to put you in office. Remember that. Remember that. First. You keep doing that and try to facilitate their continued corruption. I warn you, and I am not afraid. I will fire you. I will ensure you face the courts. I will ensure we cannot replace one corrupt bunch and then Trump and follow suit. And that's why I ask you to understand, we cannot complain about the ghosts in the CPEP. And then you are on our throats, you just want to replace those ghosts with your ghosts. It can't work like that. It must not work like that. It will not work like that. All will benefit. We have programs, we have plans. I give you the commitment today. I will ensure that the most vulnerable are taken care of first. That is my pledge to you tonight. The AG likes to say he will go to war with you. But if you continue that kind of behavior, patterning from the PNM, I am not going to war with you. I'll bust your head should you do it. I'll bust your head. The UNC rank and file, and I, and many, worked too hard to put us back into government. For some people to be now favoring the same corrupt, eater food, fake elite. Lyman and Hyatt, Lyman is some restaurant up in town. People would never sit at the same table with you. You are now seen in Port of Spain, sitting at those tables. Learn your lessons. They will carry you, but they will not bring you back. Consider this as a warning. Consider this as a warning tonight. If you continue, I will publicly call you out one by one in front of the UNC membership. And don't ever believe this Kamala 2.0 is not the same Kamala 1 from 2010, 2015. It's not the same. You're dealing with a person who has learned from mistakes. And I tell you, I will not lose my pathway. And I tell you again, let us continue to put God in front and walk behind, and we will not go wrong. I assure you, this Kamala is a different Kamala. All that things that you did, some of you did, and think you get away in 2010 and 2015 will not be repeated. It seems some people have not learned anything in the last 10 years. So again, I say, this is a warning, a 100-day warning. Straighten up, fix yourself, behave yourself. Too many thousands of persons are depending on us. They gave me the job, you wanted the job, I'll do the job and honor them, honor them. My friends, I want to tell you, jobs are coming your way. Do not fear. CPEP and URP and what, that is not the job for everyone. Yes, we need grass cutters. But there are jobs there for everyone. Let me tell you what has been happening in the public sector. Every minister will come to you and tell you in their ministry the number of vacancies in the public service. The PNM refused to fill those vacancies. Why? Because they wanted to handpick political friends and put them on contract for big, big money. Will not fill the vacancies. There are thousands of vacancies in the public sector. They left those jobs unfilled. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to give you make-work programs. Make-work programs, you know what? It's another kind of slavery. So when you stand and you sing free at last and it's emancipation, they were putting you into another dependency syndrome of another kind of slavery. Imagine people working in CPEP for 10 years at minimum wage. We have a mandate to fill all the vacancies across the public service, to create more meaningful jobs, to allow the average citizen to earn more, to advance your education, your skills, and careers, so you don't get stuck in a CPEP syndrome for 10 years. That puts you in an oppressed position that you have to depend on some political pappy to give you a hand down. That's not a hand up, that is a hand down to keep you forever dependent. None of the politicians and commentators speaking glowingly about URP and CPEP mention what? The low wages, the lack of job security, absence of vacation leave, absence of maternity leave, severance or union representation. That's what those jobs were. No one speaks about the starvation wages of these programs and the inability to get a loan from any institution based on working there. No one mentions the sexual exploitation of women in these programs. No one mentions the criminal activity. No one mentions the ghost gangs and the use of the program for political support. All these commentators and bleeding hearts pretending that they care. Politicians who endorse grass cutting, cleaning drains, they do so because it's not them, it is not them nor their children, remember that, doing that work. They like it for you and your children, not for them and their children, remember that. That is what they want for you, your children, whilst a few of them run away with millions and billions of dollars. Remember that. The PNM gave away our country to the 1%, remember that. The same PNM now crying for you to stay and cut grass. Same crying for you to have work on starvation wages. They gave away billions of dollars to the 1% mafia, while you and your children must cut grass. Remember that. The former Prime Minister said, not the one-day Prime Minister, the one before him, he said, the rich will get richer. Rich, don't forget, the rich will get richer. Did you know the entire Invaders Bay foreshore has been given away? Over 100 acres given away next to the airport. Billions in CLICO assets given away. Billions in contracts have been gifted to a few contractors whose work has failed. Billions given away to lawyers, to accounting firms, to consultants, but you must collect a CPEP wage. That will not continue. In Caribbean Airlines, they have 86 people in their financial department. But guess what? They have spent over $60 million hiring Ernst & Young and Price Waterhouse to conduct audits. 86 people on your staff. Billions and millions being paid out like this. To date, Caribbean Airlines has not submitted an audited financial statement for the last 9 years. Do you know not one single Caribbean Airlines route is profitable? Not one route is profitable. Yet plane filling up every day, going and coming. Not one single route of Caribbean Airlines is bringing a profit. But we are spending millions of dollars there. I am giving the management of Caribbean Airlines 2 years, max. They have to sort out the mess. Otherwise, everyone there will have to look for a new job. Everyone will have to look for a new job. Your future is in your hands. No longer will we accept taxes paid by ordinary citizens, paid by teachers, paid by policemen, small enterprises. We take your money to upkeep CAL, allowing its management to receive large salaries for doing what? Failing in their jobs. Must not continue. Furthermore, my government will not continue to bail out perennially failing state enterprises. The majority of them are failing, spending billions in debt still. This cannot continue. We cannot do business like this. I ask you on the state enterprises, as boards are being put into place, do your job. Do your job, or you will have to find it all and walk. You'll be gone. There's hardly one good road in this country. If you know one, tell me, I'll go and take a drive. Hardly one good road in this country, but billions of dollars were spent. I asked for test results. I requested and received some information from Pure, but most of the work that was done failed. Nothing has been done to remediate the failed work. And they didn't even conduct proper testing on some of those last-minute jobs they were rushing to do to win elections. We have a senior technical officer working on private projects for a contractor, while officer is overseeing the exact same job for the government. corruption and conflict of interest in the state sector. Pure is corrupt and inefficient unit within the Ministry of Works. Some individuals at Pure appear to have a corrupt, coordinated arrangement with individuals at NIPDEC to facilitate the funneling of billions of dollars in state contracts to a favored few contractors. I've instructed the minister to address the issue and to involve the Anti-Corruption Investigations Bureau to resolve these issues once and for all. NIDCO has not sent me any test results. NIDCO appears to be amongst the most corrupt of the companies in the Ministry of Works. The work done by local contractors on the Point Fortin Highway has already failed and is continuing to fail. You remember Minister Mullah said like a mosquito crack was like a biscuit, a crisp biscuit. All those millions of dollars spent on that road has failed. It is a shame and a waste of money to by these contractors on that highway. I tell you, I have instructed the minister to write to AECOM. Jack, you remember that company you were Ministry of Works? AECOM. They were initially contracted with respect to design of the highway. So I'm asking Minister of Works to write to them for a report on that highway to Point Fortin. Yes, we will complete it, but we have to get a proper report. What happened? And I want you to remember, just like they've done with the CPEP contracts, on the eve of an election, tying up the state for expenditure of $1.4 billion, and they did so fraudulently. They did the same thing with that Point Fortin Highway. You remember, Mr. Warner? Point Fortin Highway. They contracted the company OAS just a few days before the election took place. And the rest has been history there. They have given us the ministry's officers, no test results for the Komoto Highway. I requested this, I have not received it. I've instructed a review of the rates paid for the work done on that project, and I'm asking again for the test results. In another Ministry of Works division, it's a family business they're running without shame. The father is the director. The son and the son-in-law are deputy directors of that division. It's a family business. The drainage division is also deeply corrupted with a few hand-picked contractors in control. That is why we experience annual flooding due to the deeply flawed drainage division. Hundreds of millions of dollars are squandered through overpriced rentals. 1%ers are going to the ministry and banks. They're negotiating rental contracts. They're obtaining loans. They're constructing buildings. And then they're securing contracts through sole selection. And people out here are fighting for starvation wages. Workers have to go to work every day in deplorable buildings with unfit conditions. A group of lawyers charged NGC $42 million for handling one case. I must be in the wrong profession. I should probably go back to law. Go back and do some law. $42 million for one case. And it is the same across the state enterprise sector. I talk about the Eater Food lawyers, and it's the same ones. The state companies hired consultants to advise on loans, to advise on contracts, to advise on legal and technical matters at highly inflated prices running to billions of dollars, which was wasted. Kerwin Garcia, the president's first, what is it called, AG? First, president's first husband. No, wait. No, please. She does not have a second husband, please. In Parliament, you say first something. Oh, well, you know who? The president's husband. First gentleman. That's the correct word. First gentleman. You all will get me in trouble, eh? Some of you all will get me into trouble on this platform. So Mr. Garcia, I said, that is the experience there. Attorney of choice, NGC, Caribbean Airline, WASA, and other state entities raking in tens of millions of dollars across the board. How can that be right? That making sense? There's so many other lawyers. Why you have to take the same lawyers for everything? Spending millions and billions. The puppet PNM president has nothing to say about that. Nothing to say. The most significant theft occurred, I'll tell you, in the financial sector. The PNM government borrowed money at high interest rates from companies associated with their friends, the 1%ers, the financiers. They were borrowing at over 9% interest. So our singers are not true, Minister. 9% interest when others were offering between 3 and 4% interest. They took the 9% because who? Friends and financiers. To be paid billions by you, ordinary taxpayers. Excessive interest payments due to these flawed financial deals. So don't get tied up. Don't get fooled and misled into thinking that the government is only dealing with criminality at this level. We are going at the low end of the scale, and we are dealing with criminality at both ends of the scale. We are coming for you. You eater fooders at the top, and financiers, we are coming for you too, on both ends. The fake elite, 1%ers, and the PNM are trying to incite you because they are also being exposed. You have no idea how greedy and wicked these people are. They want more and more while you get less and less. I tell you, the time will come. Some of them will face jail. The time is coming. The time is coming. The PNM over the last 60 years has added the most significant theft and destruction. Professor Kujo will agree with me on this point. Transfer of wealth from Afro-Trinidadian and Tobagonians masses into the hands of the 1%. They have overseen that transfer of wealth to the 1%. They have ruled for the 1% and neglected their own well-being and their own base. They raided Clico, a majority-run and maybe the only then Afro-run company, and they partitioned it out for the 1%. So when you hear Clico, understand when they're African-run company successful, they split it up into pieces and they're busy selling it out like they're selling sweetie in a parlor. They want to sell Long Circular Mall. They want to sell the one down Trin City Mall for peanuts to their 1% friends. Under my watch, that will not happen. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. So the PNM, they feed the 1% billions, and they give citizens starvation jobs and wages. They have bankrupted their supporters. They have created a dependency syndrome to control them for political purposes, whilst at the same time, they're handing over our economy, our wealth of the nation to that 1%. That is why they attack persons like Selvin Kujo, because he speaks the truth as he sees it. They attack John Jeremy. They attack Roger Alexander. They attack Michelle Benjamin. They attack Jolene John. And they attack anybody who is a UNC and stands for the UNC. Let's give it up for these great men and women in our party. They face the worst backlash. But they are not deterred. The 1% of the PNM try to destroy any strong Afro-Trini voice, which calls them out because of their greed. But they are strong men and women who will not be cowed, who will not live in fear, and they will stand up for what they see is the right thing to do. Let's give them a round of applause. Whether you're Indo-Trini, Afro-Trini, or anyone in between, we are all Trinbagonians together. One humanity. Morgan Jones used to tell me, do not see race in any face, but see the grace of God in every face. We are all human brothers and sisters. I will not commit the same destruction upon UNC supporters that the PNM did to their supporters. I will not allow UNC supporters to be pushed into a dependency syndrome. We must make sacrifices now to educate our children and support young adults in businesses so that they can create sustainable employment opportunities with high wages. My friends, you cannot afford to buy or build a house or a car on these make-work programs unless you're ghosting. Unless you're ghosting. That cannot happen. It's time to move on from these make-work programs. You cannot live your entire life in fear, working for starvation wages and constantly worrying. Excuse me. Constantly worrying. Just a minute. I would ask the camera if we could take the camera off for a minute. Please. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm coming to the end. Yes, I have some more to say. So we will not do the same to my supporters or to anybody. We will not allow that dependency syndrome to continue. I said it is time to move on from them. You cannot live always with these starvation wages and so on. How? What are you going to do when you can't work anymore? What will happen? Because these make-work programs are a poverty trap, while a small group runs away with the billions. I will stand with the people who stood by me, and I will support them. The UNC has transformed into the most diverse, multi-ethnic party ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. During the campaign, I warned that there is a country beyond the lighthouse in Port of Spain. And to my friends from Port of Spain, I see Philip smiling. There is a country beyond the lighthouse, to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. All is Trinidad and Tobago. And we must take care of everyone, everywhere. Because what happens when the UNC wins? Everybody wins. The rest of the country must not settle for scraps, while the fake elite up in the north enjoy the fat of our land. Tonight, I'm warning the boards and management of Republic Bank, First Citizens Bank, Exim Bank to sort themselves out. These institutions are not functioning in the best interests of our citizens. They operate in the interest of a few. Imagine this. This really happened. This is a true story. Imagine a 1%er walks into the office of Minister Jillian John. He comes in with a folder with paper, and he puts the paper on the desk. And you know what is on that paper? Puts that paper and he tells her he wants land at Invaders Bay. He said he's getting a loan from Republic Bank to buy the land. Of course, at reduced discounted prices. And guess what? He's then getting a loan from the same Republic Bank to build a building. And then the same Republic Bank will rent the building from him to allow him to repay the loan and make a profit. This is a real story. That is what has been happening in secret behind closed doors under the former regime. Thank God you put us into office so we can expose them for their dealings. And this story, I tell you, I am told the same thing is happening at First Citizens Bank. There's no transparency, no fairness, just in-house deal-making. That is why I have instructed my ministers to fill all vacancies across all ministries. Fill them properly and transparently. Police Service Commission, Teaching Service Commission, Let's fill the vacancies across the service and create sustainable jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm told there are about 20,000 vacancies. We're working on bringing foreign investment. We're working on restarting the refinery, which will bring more jobs. So, my friends, I'm going to use our country's money to educate our children and create sustainable jobs. I will open that UWI campus. We together will open that campus so more of our children will have access to tertiary level education at affordable prices, all the way from the South Peninsula down in La Brea and Point Fortin on the southeast coast coming down. They can all converge at that DB campus and don't have to come up and take spaces at St. Augustine. Let the people up on the corridor here and in the north, they will have more spaces opening to them at St. Augustine. So let the south and central people can come down to the South DB campus. We will get it done for 10 years. Out of spite, malice, wickedness, I can't find you right words. You kept that university shut. It was about 95% complete, shut down for 10 years. I tell you, the money that we make, we'll use it for laptops. I commit again today, your children will get their laptop when school reopens. I know many of you are worrying about school books. Well, let me tell you something. Yes, books are very important. The Minister of Education says they have a program. The MPs and councillors are working to help you with your books and so on. But you see that laptop? It's not just going to be a laptop to play the games that Mr. Sturge told us about. What was it? Name some of those games they play. Minecraft and blah, blah, blah. Okay? We are going to put real craft, not Minecraft, into those laptops so that the need for the books will not be as tremendous as it appears to be. You're going to get, Minister of Education is working on it, Dr. Dowlad, you're going to get work, school work on those laptops. You will be online. You will be amongst the world's best educated children. So never fear, because Kamala is here. Laptops, books, gate, safe schools, vocational training, and internships, apprenticeships, and entrepreneurship programs. We will use the money to help you grow your own businesses, to make investments, own your own property. You know, I give a story, and I'll just take a few more minutes. I give a story. When I was a child, you know, you parangs, there's people doing parang, they go from house to house. Well, because of some problems with my parents and who married who and didn't marry who, father, mother didn't like one, in-laws didn't like, and so on. I used to be moving from house to house because they were renting, and we'd go from house to house. I know what it's like. I know what it is when you don't have a home of your own. I lived through that. And thank God today, what has me here today is education. So children, as Mighty Sparrow tells us, go to school and learn. That is the only passport out of poverty. That is only the key to a better quality of life. So we'll use the money for education. A lot will be spent on education. We'll let you help you grow and own property. Let Farris and the PNM MPs, all these commentators, the 1%, tell them send their children to cut grass and clean drains. You want to send your children where? To school to learn. I want your children to achieve great things in life. I don't want them struggling from paycheck to paycheck. And so now I talk about one other place that Minister Khadija has to crack the whip. And I'm talking about the regional corporations. They must clean up their act. I'm warning the regional corporations to get their act together. Get it in order. They're not doing their jobs properly. They come to work, they sign a book, and by 10 a.m., guess what? They're going home. We cannot allow that. Then you want to create CPEP to cut grass, NGC to cut grass, HGC to cut grass. Everybody cutting grass. What are the regional corporations doing? What are you doing? A person sent me a little text message on my phone recently. They say, remember when you used to see the Port of Spain Corporation had the truck and the van, the garbage and the refuse. They're cleaning up the spaces. They were cutting grass. You had jobs for them. But this set of workers, I don't know, we've got some lazy people about now. You sign the book and by 10 o'clock you're going home. Mayor, why do you allow it? Send them home. Send them home. If you want to go home, go home. But don't take your salary, keep your paycheck, and go home. If you get a job, you have to work, okay? They're not doing your jobs. So, all these ghost workers everywhere. No wonder our country's in the state that it is in. It is throughout the system, in the public service, everywhere. It is there. We have people in our country, they go to work every day. They sit in traffic for hours. Nurses, doctors, private sector workers, construction workers, teachers, they go to work. They work hard. They pay their taxes. But these taxes should not be used to fund ghost gangs. Must not. These taxes must be used to improve the quality of life in your communities. So I tell you again, CPEP, URP, Highways Division, Regional Corporation, HDC, NDC. All these state companies cutting grass. It was amazing. They all cutting grass. And people vex because I talk about cutting grass. If I don't do it, then who will? Certainly not Penny Beckles and Faris. They won't do it. Faris Al-Rani, I used to call him Faris Al-Rikuzal. 102 times walk out the cabinet meeting because the contract and the cabinet note was about his business. We are not there. So if these rentals, yes, Faris rentals, thank you. If the corporation workers cannot get their act together, do not do their jobs, do an honest day's work, I will ask the Minister of Finance to cut funding on the corporations and redirect money to other divisions to do the work. We can't have PCPEP highways, all of them being paid to do the same job. You know, my condolences go to the family of the woman whose car went into the river recently in South. She could have been alive today if the corporation and the bridges unit in the ministry had been doing their jobs. Due to inaction, they created a hazardous situation marked by the absence of warning signage, overgrown bushes at the bridge entrance, weak railings lacking reflective tape. I instructed Mr. John to go immediately and put proper signage by that bridge. Too late, but hopefully it will save some other lives. So that woman is now dead because some lazy persons in the corporations and a lazy government who did not fund the corporations properly. That is what happened. They were not doing their jobs. As I close, I say we are building a dream that is a safe and secure TNT. And that dream is a future where we will all win, where we all succeed safely, and where we all have access to opportunities. We need to progress and prosper. I tell you, this is a future where we all look out for each other, support one another, build a society based on love for a God and love for a country. I want to encourage you to stay the course. Stay the course. I know that a house being refurbished, a house being repaired, may look messy at first and sometimes bring discomfort to those living in that house because of dust and rubber whilst the repairs are taking place. However, when that house is complete, it brings better living. It brings new opportunities. It raises the property's value. So I ask you, this is not a victory lap. We are all steps go at the starting gun. At the 100 days when that pistol fired, the putter said, go, we went. We hit the ground running. This is how we will govern, with discipline, with compassion, and relentless determination, I tell you, the next 100 days and beyond will go further. Together, let us keep our nation intact. Let us keep our nation a place of peace, progress, and prosperity. And for you all, I tell you, the work has begun. The results are real. The future is ours to build together. And I remember, as I always remind you, you have had leaders before me. You will have leaders after me. But never ever will you have a leader who loves you as much as I do. May the good Lord continue to bless each and every one of you. God bless and thank you very much.
Prime Minister, we have a very special guest.
The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Star, Dwayne Bravo, who has come to sing a song for you tonight. Dwayne.
This is a champion DJ Bravo. What we say? Yeah, let me say cool. Special.
Let's go.
Anti-Kamla, 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 anti.
Let's go. Sing.
Champion,
Champion, champion, champion.
Bang, bang, bang.
Everybody knows they come now, champion. Sing. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows cause
Bang, bang, bang.
Don't forget, Michael Jordan, Obama, Mandela, Serena, Whitey, champion, Shelly, let's go, sing, 1, 2, champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows it. Sing, champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows it.
This is the champion DJ.
Let's go! Champion, we are real champion! Champion, we are real champion!
Respect.
DJ, thank you!
Anti-Kamla,
Auntie,
Kamla,
auntie,
Kamla.
auntie, let's go! Sing! Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows say auntie a champion. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody know. Thank you, DJ. Thank you very much. Congratulations once more. Okay. Thank you.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams. The Ground Report with Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place. We must make government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place. We must make government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place.
And that is what the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa are doing for each and every one of us. The Burkina Faso of Trinidad in the Western Hemisphere of Trinidad and Tobago.
Bang, bang, bang.
The abolition of change, commitment, loyalty, and wanting to make sure before Almighty God go with a beautiful little lady, that what the PNM had failed to do within all these years, which is to make Trinidad and Tobago a Singapore of the world. She wanting to do that and leaving a legacy of success, education, a better Trinidad and Tobago.
Bang, bang, bang.
I say no more. You all hear for yourself. You all did, each and every one of us. I want to open the lines. I don't want to hear what's just your thoughts. Some people say she may be mashing the toes of big, powerful people. Some people say that type of method is a method where the people that want the things to remain the same will look at leaders like her and try to assassinate, get rid of. But we are saying our prayers is with Kamala Prasad Bisesa and putting Trinidad and Tobago on the right track, and we will. Trinidad and Tobago will be great again.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, bang, bang.
This little lady, the mother of the nation, did what all other politicians or leaders or prime ministers failed to do. And as she have always said, you'll have many other prime ministers, but you will never have a Kamala Prasad Bisesa.
Bang, bang, bang.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And we will also be interviewing, because as Kamla Prasad Bisesa said, with all that need to be put in place, without security, safety, yes, 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 without security, safety, most of these things will just be like just that. And I must say the National Security Minister, Honorable Wayne Sturge, was on fire and laid out. They are going for the criminals, the criminal elements. They are determined to make sure that Trinidad and Tobago become a safe country again.
The Ground Report with Mikey K. Andy Williams.
So what I'm going to do is just open the lines.
Smith.
You all heard the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. You all heard Barry Paradup. And a little bit you'll be hearing live the Honorable Wayne Sturge on the issue of crime and the direction. You ain't hear about the both of them going to fix. When come to borders and man, the lines are open. The numbers to call, you all know it. I can't tell anybody this morning, but I will say this morning. Good morning to all in sundry, east, west, north, and south that are look on. To Real Media TT on Facebook, Real Media TT on YouTube, Corridor Transformation. All the various platforms, a pleasant good morning to you, including those of you that look on to us in Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, the Caribbean, all through Grenada, St. Lucia, all over, Jamaica, all over. A pleasant good morning to you and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the #1 program in Trinidad and Tobago, The Ground Report. Short and sweet. Yeah, I said, no more than 2 minutes or so. Short and sweet. What is your thoughts on the account of the UNC government? Kamla Prasad Bisesa, 100 days in office, and the vision that was explained and the things that are being put in place for all of us. What says thou?
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
So let the banks know, Republic Bank, First Citizens Bank, get yourself together. Are coming for you. So also let whoever is those MPs or ministers, wait, this time is not the last time, you know. Them talks and them only having their tongue. But the 1%, don't let them organize and come and bring you all to order in front of the membership of the UNC. I'm coming for my own ministers to work.
Bang, 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 bang.
No corruption, no underhand deals, about no faso. And our Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Bang, 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 bang.
She said, fill the gaps. Give people sustainable jobs. All the vacancies in the ministries, fill it, fill it. I have instructed my ministers, fill it.
Bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
The lady said, no more free money and doing this and doing that. And I've been asking NETCO and various government institutions. Send the necessary documents that I've been asking for. The little lady say, the president's husband is a favorite lawyer that make millions of dollars while we fighting up for CPAP and URP. Them boy and them going with millions of dollars. She also mentioned she are not paying chairman, vice chairman, directors, CEOs, anybody that is running government business. Come with results. Make our government institutions financially successful, or you'll be fired, replaced. She are not paying nobody no big money for mediocrity.
Bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I feel good. That's why, look, long before all of this was mentioned in the 100 days of success, we on the Ground Report decide, hey, it's not about telling me no more because she already are. All we pay them do, yeah, we gotta say all we to do. But we also have to not chicken out and go in a direction of what needs to be done and what our government intend to do, and how could we advise or help advise or influence some of the things that we see as low-hanging fruits that we can advise our government for all of us to deal with it. Come on, man, involvement. We have a government that is involved with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And as I said, the Prime Minister mentioned the biggest problem is crime. Safety, that was our number one. And you all heard the Honorable Wayne Sturge, which we will be interviewing the Honorable Wayne Sturge in a little bit. So tell your friend, to tell your family, to tell your brother, your sister, tell everyone that Trinidad and Tobago is on the right track with a leader coming up beside Bisesa that make up a mind to leave a legacy of change in our great country. And if we continue to go down that road, I'm seeing in the next 10 years, Trinidad and Tobago could be a Singapore of this world. She gave the commitment to open back our refinery. She also mentioned about how much millions of billions of dollars we have been spending on the same products that we used to create and sell. Bitumen, jet fuel, kerosene. What the hell is this? P&M mash up this country.
Bang, 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 bang.
I could go on and on and on on some of the things that this lady mentioned. But here where it is. All I want is one thing from anybody. Whether it be Barry, whether it be Kamala, whether it be Wayne Sturge, whether it be Eli Zachary. That mentioned to open the Shogun as a bus depot. The mechanics and everything. I want only one comment from you on what caught you, but we will still slip in because so much of things that caught me, and it'll be unfair to you all. If you are short and sweet, you'll get the opportunity to slip in 3 things that caught your attention and make you as an individual, as a Trinidad and Tobagonian, feel proud and say, great is coming up beside this sister, and Trinidad and Tobago gonna rise again.
Bang, bang, bang.
But one based on how lengthy you're taking to bring the first point I will get you. 3 go based on you bring your points real fast. The line's open. Go ahead, caller. Morning. A pleasant good morning to you. Where are you calling from? Short and sweet.
I call from Tacaricon. This is Granny. Granny, don't leave all your bad. Doesn't always call because I don't always get through. Since I know myself, I'm so old, I haven't heard something so good from a prime minister, a good cabinet, a good government, and all of them you hear good things from. And all your boys help this country to reach where it's going. All your boys, TC and Heavy, all your help this country to reach where this country has to go. We can lie down and we could say, God, we pensioners have to be happy. We're happy now. We're happy because of all the help that government to reach where it is. And we have a good government. All of them good, and all of them hardworking. But God bless all the boys, and what people have to do now, help yourself. If the Venezuelan could leave Venezuela and come here and work for $150, $200 a day, and when they done that, they come and they sweep, they scrub somewhere, and they have children renting and sending them to school, the good ones. There are some good ones. And why is it people, there's a whole lot of people that can't get up and go, that I work all about, gardeners need work. The government begging people to come, all these hospitals want people to take care of the elderly. You don't have to get...
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gadi. Go ahead, make your closing comments.
Yeah. So God bless all the boys.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Go ahead, caller.
Andy Williams, good morning to you, Andy Williams. Good morning to you, Lennox Smith. And good morning to you, Mighty K. Good morning to the listeners of the Ground Reporter. Andy Williams, am I coming across clear?
Loud and clear,
Hello?
COP. Kunji, call him anything else, but don't call him a PNM.
And Collector. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. What a speech by the Prime Minister. What a speech. I give a 10 out of 10 for a passionate speech. A speech that will motivate, encourage, and inspire the future of this country. I give you 10 out of 10 for that. But what drew my attention in that speech is the things that matters the most. The warning she gave to the MPs and them to take care of the people and them, go out and meet the vulnerable. The one she want to see about the most is the vulnerable. I want to tell all them UNC MPs and them, all you walk the constituency and all you see the problems the people them face. 100 and a few days pass, 3 months, ministers, you get 3 months salary already. You get 3 months salary already. Senators get 3 months salary already. Police officers, everybody get 3 months salary already. You see the vulnerable? Them get 3 months salary. You see for the past 7-8 years, though the vulnerable looking for a food card, they're looking for a hamper, they're looking for a way out to assist the vulnerable families, MPs. You take a constitutional oath to go out in the community and represent the people. Now's the time for you to do that. The fancy life that you intend to live, that is not what the Prime Minister wants. That is not what the citizens of this country want. It's to go out there and assist the people and them now that put you in power. Because it is factual. People need assistance. None of the vulnerable really get assistance since the government come in power. It's time for the MPs and them to represent the vulnerable, the ones that not working. There are many people in this country need a simple thing like a food card, need a simple thing like a hamper. They need representation. And I applaud the Prime Minister. It's going to be brutal for you if all you represent the people and them. Pull up all the socks. Because I going to start to call out constituencies that need representation. And MPs gone by them and promise to represent them. And 3 months now you getting a salary. And 3 months now them get none. Today they're still struggling. It's your responsibility to go out and represent the people and them. There are constituency ground report and citizens of this country. There are constituency that burgesses and activists had to spend $35 and $40 to go meet the MP. To go and meet the MP because it's far, a distance away, the office, and they have to pay passage to go and do that. Why it is it can't have some office? Honorable Prime Minister, instruct your MP and them the same way to have sub office all over constituency for that vote. It must have sub office so that people could go now and get representation.
A minute again.
Constituency.
A minute again.
Let's say my constituency. It have people in my constituency and they spend $40 to go and meet the MP office. Let's put a stop at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Go ahead, caller. Pleasant good morning to you. Where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Andy, morning to you, Lennox boy. You hear me?
Go ahead, my brother. Good morning to you. Go ahead.
Anybody want a better Prime Minister than that? That are going to look in the twilight zone. And you see all them people who come along one, they asked for the quaking this morning because what she told me is the truth. Only 1% and all of them. You hear me, Andy?
Yes. She even include Clico assets, all technically giveaway.
But remember I told her long time she could take it back. The robber black man on the business, boy, you had no right doing that. We ain't getting a better Prime Minister than that in a hurry, boy, Andy. And I proud of Kamala what she told me last night. And anybody could say what they want, you know. We ain't getting nothing better than Kamala. She is the best. And none of them better don't try nothing by she, you know, because people are going to make real noise in this country. Anyway, thanks for the call, and I'm glad to show you supporting Kamala. You are Lennox.
The Ground Report with Mikey K. Andy Will.
Go ahead, next caller. Short and sweet. What caught you?
Pleasant morning to Andy, Lennox, and Mikey K. Mr. Tabakit here.
Go ahead, Mr. Tabakit.
Right. I'll tell you what caught my attention when she read the riot act with corruption. She will not tolerate any corruption in her government. I support that, and I'll tell you why. Corruption is a cancer that does bring down government. And I was so happy to hear the Honorable Prime Minister early o'clock reading the riot act. As long as you get in corruption, I will dismiss you. Mr. Andy, let me repeat. Corruption is a cancer in any government where the poor and vulnerable will not get the goods and services. And to me, that take the trophy when a Prime Minister could read the riot act to our own MPs, ministers, senators, and board members. I am saying the Honorable Prime Minister is on the right track. You do the corruption, I'm going to get you out, I'm going to fire you. Thank you, Madam Prime Minister. Tabak it out and off. I thank you.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams.
Good morning, caller. Short and sweet. What caught you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen. Calling from the bar audience.
Hey, the Power, go ahead, my brother.
Let me tell you something. You know, we just find fault and excuse for every single thing. But it does have people as leave Point 14 and travel and go to a party and fete for Carnival quite up in Port of Spain. And they don't have a problem with that. Every constituency in Trinidad and Tobago, ain't no far-reaching place for if you want to go and visit your MP. So if you want to go, it has no excuse. Go get up and do what you need to do, because for too long, everybody depending on government to do everything for them. Only sucking the blood of the government. This is a different time. You know what catch me and what stand out? How a woman could put so much emphasis on ensuring that every citizen, children, have a proper education in this country. And don't just fall into want to be a grass cutter or live off of handouts and all kind of thing. How she stress about the children, making sure that they get proper education. Because for far too long, the other set of them have the children all in England and America and all over the world getting their education. But having you now living in this country and expecting your children to be working for CPEP and URP and thing when they finish school, that is the difference. No normal person ever do that. It had to have somebody who really care. Remember how Rowley used to address the fighting and the thing in school, as there's hyena from the jungle and all this kind of thing? What's the difference of how this late? And I thought this is the same person that the PNM sycophants and just call that she weak and she feeble and she can't talk and all kind of thing. If that is what I see into that means weak and feeble, well, I don't want to see Kamala as a strong person, you know, because she got mashed down this place. She could be like Hulk, you understand? Because this lady at this age, so cognizant and alert and speaking and standing up and boisterous and really alert to everything that is going on. This other idiot that was there for so long, the temporary prime minister we had before the next one. In a speech like that, he would have done be telling you, oh, ban your belly and thing ain't good and this one ain't good and abusing and being every single thing that was said by the prime minister was something for betterment for the country, betterment for the people. If you're a criminal, you're going to be worried about the police. Once you're a law-abiding citizen, you rather worry about no SOE and no police situation. Once you're a citizen who goes out to a job and you perform your job and your work, you don't have to worry about being on the breadline because you're contributing. And that is all any normal citizen. But you see, under the PNM, they were so accustomed getting away with every single thing, dumping rubbish all over the place, being lawless, and that is normal part of their life. Fitzgerald Hines used to accept that. That was comfortable for him. Same thing with going to work. You go to work in the morning, you just leave. No accountability, no performance. That's what they was accustomed for. So these are the people who would be against what the Prime Minister is saying. These are the people who wouldn't like she as a Prime Minister. But the rest of us who want to see betterment and know that, we need to look for a better future for our children. We need, as the workers, now have to perform and contribute to the society. We, as the citizen, have to support the law-abiding citizen. We have to support the protective service, and we will have a better country. And you see, look at the light at the end of the tunnel.
1 minute
Investment
again.
Is coming back into the country.
Nice. 1 minute again. You go ahead.
Yeah, investment is coming back into the country. So that alone just tells the citizen of this country that under this government, we have a better future. Andy, have a good morning. Lennox, have a good morning. Enjoy the rest of all your program. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parapo. Next caller, morning. Go ahead, caller, morning.
Hello, good morning to the panel. I call him from Point Fortin.
Go ahead, Point Fortin.
Just as how the man said just now, for the MPs them to come out and represent the people, I know things real hard, and it will take a little while before everything start back up. But we have a borough, and they could do something.
Well, boy, the borough for now, until the next election is controlled by the PNM, all we can do is beg them to represent the people of Point Fortin. And if they don't, knowing that the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago read the riot act, well, then they will suffer the consequences in the local government election coming, where that borough will no longer be in the hands of the PNM and will be in the hands of the UNC that will be giving accountability and transparency as promised by the Prime Minister.
It have too much single mothers outside here that don't have work and need something. Now begging, Mr. Kennedy Richard, I know you're not there anymore, but please help the single mothers. You did well with the school books last drive. This year, do something. You could still do something. You could work together with Mr. Keys there, and please help the single mothers. I've stopped sending resume all over the place, and they're saying it didn't have. And when you do get a 10 days, they want you to come and cut the yard personally on the 10 days money, and that ain't right. Okay? When you don't do it, they're cutting you off the program. I beg and please for the single mothers of Point Fortin and especially Egypt Village, please help the single mothers. Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Keys, they come together and work to help the single mothers. We're not supposed to have to come and lime and drink by a bath water to help we. We're not like that. Please help us. That's all I ask, and all you have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Point Fortin. Next caller, go ahead.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning to you, Mr. Ramnarine.
Good morning, Mikey K. What I want to say is that I listened to the last segment. I listened to Kamala Bissessa last night, and you know that woman's voice is a voice of a true statesperson. She had everything on the right track. Everything she said, it was correct. And I want to tell Penny Beckles, go and take a course in talking to people. Go and take a course in learning how to go on a platform or a podium and make a speech. You take pattern from Kamala, because that's voice is the voice of a true statesperson. You know, she didn't have to look for words. She had everything there. You know. And she's doing the right thing because she wants to make sure that the people in the country live a better life, especially the children. Her focus is more on children, education, healthcare, and everything else. And once as those things is done, everything will be okay. But they have to give her a little time, it's only 3 months. Because PNM drain out the country. They drain out the treasury. They drain out the oil. They drain out everything. And they leave the country dry, as a dry piece of guava water. You know? And people have to take into account these things. And what our government is trying to do is try to get back on track, try to bring back everything on track. You know, that within a year or two, that people must be able to live a good life. There'll be jobs. There'll be decent jobs, decent salary. You know? And things has to be that way. And these PNN sycophants, let them go and hide themselves. Especially the type like Marvin Gonzalez, say propagandists. PNM has the biggest propagandists in Trinidad because they're preaching from end to end. And they're preaching on truth, lies, and everything else. You know, so let them go on. But Kamala has a voice. And she has given her ministers priorities. You don't perform, get the hell out. You know? And she's quite right. You have been chosen by the people to seek the people's interest and to perform. And if you don't, we don't need you. You know? But again, I've said, That woman's voice is the voice of a true statesperson who has knowledge and everything else has been a leader. And that is what people need. Leaders like these. Not like Beckles. What Beckles could lead it? Beckles weak. You know? Anyway, that was what I was saying this morning, and thanks very much.
Thank you very much. We're going to play some clips away in Sturgeon. But before I do that, let me say a pleasant good morning to the mighty man, Mikey Kerr, Lennox Smith. You all heard for yourself. You all hearing the people. While we organize and make a little room to hear a little piece away in Sturge, while we put an interview in place. Oh boy, gentlemen, what says thou? You all heard the Prime Minister.
Go ahead, Mikey. I'll come up to you.
I don't know if you're hearing me loud and clear.
Yes, man, we hear you loud and clear.
I'm hearing you loud and clear, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Lennox. Good morning to everyone. Go ahead there, Lennox.
Yes, indeed, of course, good morning to everyone as well. We are awakening to what I consider to be the resetting of Trinidad and Tobago, a splendid, magnificent, superlative address by the Honorable Prime Minister last night at the Cova complex, of course, celebrating or commemorating the 100th day or the 100 days, first 100 days of the new government, having, of course, gotten into office on the 28th of April. It was packed with all of the ingredients that suggest, as I wrote a note to her this morning, indicating that it was. Let me just look for it. Maybe that might sort of encapsulate all of what I would want to see at this point in time. But what it says essentially is that the level of professionalism that is expected, the kind of society that she would prefer Trinidad and Tobago become extremely productive, and at the same time recognizing the national goals for Trinidad and Tobago, and most importantly, of course, transparency, accountability, and of course, equity. And I think that to me, the last one, equity, suggests that that resetting is such an imperative, because when she mentioned that there are certain elements that are parasitically fleecing on the resources of the country, whether it be financial or material, lands, etc. And of course, why she made the example of somebody who is close to a bank, and they gave him the money to purchase lands that may well have been state lands. I'm not too certain if it's that she would have been referring to, but whether it's so or not, I think the essential lesson is the same. And then, of course, is able to construct a particular building on that particular land, and then, of course, have it rented by the government to assure that they get, of course, what I consider to be unmeritorious wealth. But let me tell you what I associated with that statement was when, of course, the headquarters for the Ministry of Health was announced by the previous administration, Dr. Rowley. And then, of course, we learned that not only that prime piece of land, I'm talking about around the savannah, you can't want more prime, more valuable land than that. And that was vested in the land itself, the state land, because you hardly have any private land in that vicinity. Well, that was vested into the company or a sub-company of the company NH International that was supposed to construct the facility that is there now. It has been constructed, but the land was vested. They used that now to get the loan from the bank, and then, of course, the rest of it is history. In that, you and I, the stakeholders, the citizens, the coffers of the state now have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in order, of course, to satisfy that particular arrangement. I mean, that is pathetic. And I think when she mentioned that I remembered, of course, the ground report itself when we were at the time, and they were making us believe that it is more speculation than reality. Well, now that the new government is in place, we are hearing not from anybody else but the Prime Minister herself, who last night ratified, confirmed, certified what we then would have considered to be, while of course we would have had a certain indication, but we didn't have, of course, the documentary evidence. But certainly the new government is sitting on the documentary evidence to show that what we were saying then as to the despicable conduct and the profligacy and the waste and the unilateral approach to, of course, promoting a 1% in the country at the expense of the 99%, the rest of us, I think is a wonderful display of motivation, encouragement that was, of course, encompassed in that particular speech last night of the Honorable Prime Minister. I can go in other areas, education. I can go into, of course, resetting as far as recognizing that everybody cannot be grass cutters, and of course the opening up of the public sector. I only had to say one thing. Of course, that cannot be the only, and I'm sure she didn't mean it to be the only means of getting some kind of permanent employment, because you would appreciate that to get into the public sector, to get in a job in any one of the ministries requires a certain level of qualifications. And I'm sure that she would have also encompassed or considered in that scenario that there are those who will not reach that level, but requires to get a good job, and therefore vocational skills training and all of the other things that she did not specify, I'm sure would come into play as Trinidad and Tobago is now in a state of reset and, of course, open up for business in all aspects of life in Trinidad and Tobago, economic, social, and otherwise. After all, she did mention that our mainstay, the commanding heights of our economy, oil, gas, and petrochemical. We have, of course, Exxon coming back in after many, many years of absence. And, of course, they are going to be engaged in deep water blockage, which would mean that a whole new horizon is opening up for Trinidad and Tobago in that field. And let's hope God's willing and the manifestation of those initiatives will mean prosperity for Trinidad and Tobago, a higher standard of living, quality of life, and optimism and patriotism once again is restored into Trinidad and Tobago by all of us. I think that is my takeaway from that exercise. I have not found my communication to her as yet. Yeah. I think I now find it. I said in my communication to her this morning, Lennox Smith, Honorable PM, I am a move to simply to say magnificent, realistic, and pragmatic speech last night. Contained all the ingredients to reset Trinidad and Tobago on the path of productivity, morality, transparency, and equity. Truly, music to my ears, who has been laboring all of my adult life to realize the true and honest potential of my urban community. Well, I must put in something for Laventille within the context of national development. Then, of course, I did put a little thing there for my son, who gave her a picture last night. I think it was well recorded, but I'm going to put it up in a while behind me. But that picture indicated that she held him when he was a baby. He was a baby. Let me just put it up there behind me. I'll have to adjust it. But let me see that she held him when he was a baby, and now he's 10 years. And I was merely making the point that 10 years after, here it is, she has resumed the position of Prime Minister. I don't know if that is luck or not, but whatever it is, he is around. Let me just make sure myself is there as well. Right. So there we have it. Here she is. She was, of course, holding a very newborn addition to the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, 10 years after, there he is, of course, touching base with Super Blue. That was a picture that they took outside of a gas station when Super Blue and he engaged each other, and they decided to take out a picture. So that is what I have taken away from last night's exercise. And I think it was a wonderful one. Sorry about that, Andy. And Mikey, I wasn't able to communicate, but I thought I was getting the impression that you fellas weren't there because everybody I asked, I suppose I asked the wrong people. They told me that they haven't seen you, not that you weren't there, but they haven't seen. So, but I was close to the stage, so to speak, on the whatever facing north, well as the left-hand side of the perimeter of the building that was accommodating this particular exercise. And I want to say it was really, really, really a heart-rendering one for me, and certainly it has motivated me even more to, of course, work even more assiduously. And I like the fact that the Prime Minister ready to attack to the ministers and those who might be appointed on boards and so on to get their act together, and the level of arrogance and the level of, let's say, conceitedness must not be part and parcel of the makeup, but delivery. So I, in fact, have started writing. I've already done that, writing letters to various ministers that I believe can make an impact in my neck of the woods. I suppose that will be the case, and I advise that to other persons because I'm an urban man, Laventille oriented, East Port of Spain, etc., and I'm going to be focusing there. And of course, the political part of it, well, we will talk about that later down the road, because as I was saying last night and yesterday and the day before to the people, well, listen, if you do not win, you have no stake. So asking me what position I have, etc., etc., if you all had voted for my candidate, I'm certain that I would have been part of the cabinet. So in other words, I'm telling them that only people who win get the nectar and get the opportunity, of course, to get the fattest worm, so to speak. So dampen your expectation, and of course wait in line for whatever it is. We have quite a number of persons who have been, registering with us and for a number of other things, including, of course, employment and so on. But they have to wait, simply because the politics is such that those who are victorious must first
General,
get
deputy political leaders.
Wise of those who have failed so to do, because it's a situation where you have a choice. You either be on board or not. You decide not to be on board, and it doesn't matter whether people voted for you. The fact of the matter is that this is a first past the post system. You did get the majority of the votes, therefore, of course, you lost. And in the Westminster system, that is how it is. And therefore, those who won, I expect, of course, Labre to be seen before the Laventilles. I expect that point 14 to be addressed before Laventille, or at minimum, we may be lucky enough to have our problems addressed simultaneously, as it seemed to be the direction in which the Prime Minister and this government is heading. But if you would have won, certainly you would have had a say and a stake and a sit at the table for distribution and decision making. So let us not waste time with that. And I am going to be very brutal, because I'm jealous of Labre, I'm jealous of Point Fortin, frankly, and Laventille and East Port of Spain and Port of Spain South as a constituency ought to have been at the dinner table as well, making decisions, just as, of course, Labre and Point Fortin is now doing. So I'm not going to waste time with that. Gentlemen.
Go ahead, Mikey, man.
Yes, I don't know if you're hearing me.
Yes, I'm hearing you, my friend.
Yeah, well, I know Andy had some clips to play of Wayne Sturge. So if he wants to get started with that, because I know time is a bit against us, so if he wants to get started with that and then get into the interview, go right ahead.
The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good night and welcome to another edition of the Monday Night Forum report. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a privilege to report to you tonight on behalf of our great party, on behalf of the government, and more particularly on behalf of myself, Minister Devish Miraj, the Minister of Justice, and Minister Roger Alexander, the Minister of Homeland Security. Let me first thank the Honorable Prime Minister for the confidence that she has reposed in me and given me the opportunity to serve in the capacity of Minister of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here in my hand the 2025 manifesto, which is now government policy. And let me immediately take you to pages 33 to 37 of this manifesto. In this manifesto, which is now government policy, there is a 60-point crime plan. And we are already 57 months to go. But I am pleased to tell you that when I finish tonight, you would see that we have already accomplished about 12 of the crime points in this 60-point crime plan. And much more. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to go far. But I can go to point number 1, stand your ground laws. We have already embarked upon the consultations. We've neared completion of the consultations and we go to the next stage. That's the first one. Initiative number 2, to create the offense of home invasions. If you look at the proposed stand your ground legislation, you would see the 2 of them in there. So what we are doing is providing you with the legal framework so that when the time comes, God forbid, you have the law on your side to protect yourself from when people come to invade your homes. Now, the next step, point number 3, we have already embarked upon the process. And point number 3 says the right to bear arms. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can't put the cart before the horse. We are putting the legal framework in place, and we've started it, and you've taken part in the consultations. So that after that, you will be given the opportunity to have the tools to defend yourself if the need arises. And we ought to celebrate that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me double down on what I have said. If someone is in your house at 2 a.m., if someone invades your house and he's in your house at 2 a.m., he and others, and he has a gun in your hand, the laws that we are going to pass will protect you. And when we equip you, you are going to have the opportunity to protect yourself. So whether they are facing front, whether they are facing back, whether they back to front, whether it's dwell, if they have no right in your house at 2 in the morning, and at 2 in the morning they must know, the bandits, the rude boy must know when 2 o'clock in the morning that he find himself in your house, that he is going to meet fire with fire. This must no longer be a situation where you are at the mercy of the criminal class, the 1% criminal class at the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, just last week in my constituency, I met a victim of a home invasion, raped during the home invasion, the daughter raped, and now she is a mental case. Don't let that happen to your family. The law is going to give you the tools and the legal framework so that does not happen. We are guaranteed your safety and we have already started. Initiative number 6, full-time police officers in school. Come September, you will see the rolling out of this initiative in certain problem schools. We had a journalist, Kijan Haynes, asking if we never get fight in school. But you all saw the video. That wasn't a fight. That was a brutalization. And we are not going to allow such badly behaved students to come to school and terrorize the rest of the students who are there to learn. So we are going to challenge their negative, violent energy into a certain place. We will send them to CCC and other such programs. They will be allowed to complete their curriculum, but they will not be in a position to bully our children. Initiative number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Restructuring the Ministry of National Security. That has already happened. And the learned Prime Minister has already done the required gazetting and will continue to fine-tweak. The learned Prime Minister has also created a Ministry of Defense, which is a manifesto promise. She has created a Ministry of Homeland Security, which is a manifesto promise. A Ministry of Justice, which is a manifesto promise. How much we come so far? 7? How much we come so far? Ladies and gentlemen, we have appointed a commissioner of police. In the past, you had situations where men would run up in President House and intercept merit lists. We haven't done that. We have allowed the process to take its course. And we have appointed the one who the Police Service Commission has said is the best and the most suitably qualified candidate. And we have appointed him and we repose confidence in him. And from what you have seen, he is working. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague Roger Alexander recognized that there was a shortage in both the fire service and the police service, and just recently brought to cabinet the requisite note, and we were able to increase the strength of the Trinidad and Tobago police by absorbing 800 SRPs into the regular police service to augment the strength. That is crime plan working for you, thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister. Minister Alexander has seen the hardship the fire service is operating under, the shortage, and again he has acted to do what he has to do and has brought in 280 auxiliary fire officers into the frame. Shortly, ladies and gentlemen, when the new fiscal starts, complaining about no fire engines will be a thing of the past. That is what this government is doing for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have started the consultations. We've done what we had to do. Let me go on to initiative number 21. You've seen the Prime Minister of India come here recently so that we are able now to embark upon the construction of a forensic science center at the DBA campus. Ladies and gentlemen, that is performance. Initiative number 23, you have heard the Honorable Prime Minister talk about amending the drug and liquor laws as it relates to minors. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Prime Minister as a mother is protecting our minors from themselves and from others. Give her a round of applause. That has started. Initiative number 28 is causing a problem because initiative number 28 is restructuring the social programs. social programs where you've seen a lady on social media cussing where Mr. Ferros can because he is trying to clean up the system to prevent ghosts. To prevent ghosts. So now that we are doing the right thing, the criminal elements are fighting back. And last month they started fighting back. But guess what? We have a lady akin to the Iron Lady, and she has not backed down. She is leading from the front. She has done what she had to do. She has called a state of emergency, and you are seeing what is happening with all of the gang leaders, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Macaroni Marvin and Coalpot Keith, they do not have the moral authority to speak on crime. Because what we have accomplished in 3 months, they have not accomplished in 10 years. In my ministry, we only recently sent the Diamond vessels to naval access to dry dock. The last government allowed the vessels to run down using generators only. They did not install the electrical short supply, which would extend the life of these vehicles and show operational full capability. We have sent them to dry dock. We have started installing the electrical store supply, and you will see an increase of our naval assets back on the borders. But what did the last government do? The last government allowed it to decline. You have seen it, they've allowed it to decline because they didn't care whether drugs was coming. They didn't care whether guns was coming. They didn't care what they was doing to us, allowing migrants to come. And among them, representatives of Chende Agua, the now terrorist organization. And now that we are here, through the work of the Honorable Attorney General and the Prime Minister, we are going to weed them out. Watch it very soon. There will be no more Chende Agua in Trinidad and Tobago. The Army did not have uniforms since 2013. Only last week we were able to negotiate something so that the Army, many of whom these people are operating on one uniform, which they have to starch, press, and wear the next day, they are going to have their full complement of uniforms. So when we roll out our full crime plan, you will see the Army involved and protecting you. The only boast, I see I have 25 seconds, but I want to get it clearly. The only boast the PNM can boast is having the gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal, and in fact the 8 top spots as it comes to murder rate in this country. The highest murder rate, 625 last year. Second highest, silver medal, 605 in 2004. So 625, 605. The third highest, bronze medal, 577 in 2023. 550 in 2008. 539 in 2019. 518 in 2018. 509 in 2009. 497 in 2017. The most murderous month in this country. First it was Bloody September in 2015 with 49 murders. Then in January 2016, they beat their own thing with 60 murders in January. They were the first to cause 400 murders. They were the first to cause 500 murders. They were the first to cause 600 murders. But we are going to reduce that, ladies and gentlemen. The inmates are not going to be allowed to run the prison anymore, to use roadblocks and Call of Duty and Minecraft to communicate with people on the outside. Them days done. Let me just leave you with this, because my time is up. I just want to say, we are going to take on the bandit class, and we will fight, and through the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Attorney General, we will win, because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins.
When I was a young boy growing up in Laventry Road in Febo Village in Samoa, I really had no concept of ever becoming a manager or having an organization of my own.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. While Mickie K and Lennox Smith get back.
Yes, indeed, man. A wonderful presentation in terms of the first 100 days by, of course, the Minister. Is it external or if it defense? The Minister of Defense, Wayne Sturge, Honorable Wayne Sturge, and of course he gave just a synopsis, overview.
Lennox, put on your Discord.
What has happened?
We're not getting you. Put on your Discord.
Coming up, because they started.
Oh,
still?
No. All right, I get it.
All right now? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I was saying, I was making the point that here it is, of course, giving an account of the first 100 days of this administration as far as crime and criminality and how they are going to deal with the scourge of crime. And of course, he didn't fail to indicate the track record of the previous administration. But of course, we have said on this program from time immemorial that once the PNM is in government, murders and crime in general escalates. And of course, we remember the days of the blimp and anaconda, all of those catchy appellations or names, but at the end of the day, it turns out to be nothing. And of course, we had one minister saying, well, I think it was Dillon, Minister of National Security, who said in all certain terms, well, the reason why crime increases is when, of course, the UNC is not in government, of course, and an indictment, in my view, a most serious indictment, that the UNC must always be in government. But of course, he didn't see that way. He thought he was scoring some kind of amorphous political point. But I think generally the presentation shows optimism. It shows, of course, understanding of what is required in order to treat. And I'm sure that what we got there was just a snippet of what will be unfolding to reduce. In fact, I want to say that crime and murders has been reduced by 30-something%, comparatively speaking, already. And the surge or the scourge that you saw a little earlier from after the 28th of April was really part of the transition period. If you are following these matters, you will see that the same thing occurred when Kamala Prasad-Bissessar again was in government in 2010. There was, of course, a sort of leftover from the previous administration, so much so that she had to cause a state of emergency, call a state of emergency in 2011. Well, it's almost a repeat of the same thing this time around again. But what we would have seen moving forward is, of course, a reduction in the murders, criminality, and of course, the population feeling much more comforted and comfortable as we move towards, of course, 2030, which of course will mean another term for the UNC, because the PNM has, of course, demonstrated that they are unable to manage the affairs of the country, whether in government, and of course, they're showing right now that they are incapable of being an opposition either. So they must be now relegated to the dustbin of political history in this country.
Oh boy, Mickie.
Yes, quite a lot there.
I said on WhatsApp there.
I don't know if you've gotten in touch with the minister.
I did. He will be joining us in a bit. The Honorable Minister is in a meeting with Sarat Singh. That is a direct message from him at finance at this point in time. He said, I will try to escape in a few. Right, because remember after that powerful meeting, he is in a meeting. I sent you the WhatsApp.
Yes. I saw that. Yes.
So he's going and try to escape in a few while we continue. He will be speaking with us in a little bit on the situation of crime.
I don't know if you want to take some calls. I don't know if there's voice notes. So if you want to take it.
By the meanwhile.
In the meanwhile. Yeah.
All right. Oh boy. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tunapuna. Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I want to say this firstly, Andy. Look, Mikey.
Wait, listen. First, for now, you just had to go with what caught you, either with Kamala Prasad Bissessa or Wayne Sturge when it coming to national security. You have the opportunity to make 1 point if it's long. If you're short and sweet, you can make 3 points based on what caught Tunapuna. Go ahead, Mr. Tunapuna.
Andy, what caught me is this. We got a comprehensive report from the Prime Minister when she read the Riot Act to this country. Not only in terms of the business sector, the banking sector, the contractors, she even read it to her own members of parliament, those in state boards, those in the regional corporation and whatnot. She read the Riot Act. She is not going to tolerate no nonsense. And the whole question of the crime situation, when you listen to Minister Sturge, and I want to just draw your attention to something. All these people who will be calling and want to find out what is the government plan, what they're doing for this and what they're doing that, if they don't listen to these programs, the Monday night report, they should shut their blasted mouth, Andy, because you're hearing it from the horse's mouth directly what is the plan of the government, because there is no parliament in session. And in order for you to get and be apprised of what is taking place in this country, you have to listen to this Monday Night Forum meeting, and you will get first-hand information. And I am saying this, and it thumbs up to the Prime Minister, because, as I said, she attacked from everybody. She going after the big fish. She don't care. You see, she said, talk about the banking sector, the mafia connection, everybody who is involved in thieving this country's money. I listened to Senator Zakur talk about what's going on in Caribbean Airlines and all the other issues. Rohan Sinanan, you have plenty. You and Rishi Sukai have plenty to account for, because in your ministry, the road construction, the contracts and what have you, you were responsible for giving out contracts. And as you heard last night, what was said about these road building and repairs and whatnot, the corruption that was taking place. You heard him also mention about the Caribbean Airlines. All that was under your ministry, Rohan Sinanan, the Roads and Caribbean Airlines, Ministry of Works and Transport. And everything is abysmal failure with total corruption. And I am saying the time has reached for the Commissioner of Police, the DPP, and everybody. Let me work swiftly, because we really have to get back some of the money. And the only way we could do that is that if these matters are be brought and investigated by the police, the DPP, and then give whatever authority they have to the police and them, and let me start to lock up people, seize assets, and I'm telling you, the banking sector and all of them, we're involved in this mad charade and this conspiracy to defraud this country, because the poor people are suffering, and the banking sector ain't care nothing about things, but helping out poor people. And the Prime Minister rightfully said last night, she read out the Riot Act to every aspect, every sphere of governance. People who are ripping off this country. And I am saying, this is the opportune time. People, if all you don't want to listen to the Prime Minister, listen to the UNC government, even though you don't like them, but listen to the facts. Listen to what their plans are, how they're dealing with the crime, the economy, and everything, Andy. And to bring back this country to some semblance of sanity and prosperity. Andy, I thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunapuna. Next caller, go ahead. Morning. Go ahead, reporter.
Yes, Andy. Good morning to Andy, Lennox, and Michael Kerr. Good morning. Well, I stayed with the program where you want to hear from last night. Last night I was in the meeting last night. And I want to say what I took from that platform, and I realized I listened to other programs to the morning already, and nobody's saying about it. These vacancies that these various government ministry, the past administration refused to fill those gaps. So see, people, because you young people, You get involved with service commission. No activists in come in and tell all of that. They're not telling all of that. People looking to make and pick and find all kind of stuff. Not even the newspaper highlighted that. And when all you go to government ministries and only see a lot of the East Indian people there, you all want to know how they get their work. The gate was open. Go to service commission, forget this CPEP back, and all you young people between the age of 20-something and 30 years. I'm going to work in CPEP for 5 and 6 years. Get out of that system. Go to service commission. The Prime Minister said last night, there's a lot of vacancy in the government ministries and them to be filled. And I hope you activists and you people with media houses publish these things and let every creed and race find place here, especially you young people. Get yourself involved and go to these various ministries and then apply. And especially if you're coming from CPEP, I feel you will get a great opportunity. That is service commission is where you have to go. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Bye.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy.
Good morning. That is Scruffles had in Maracas Beach. I want to know how much police vehicles have in Maracas police station. So long after you no police and come, not a police vehicle in reach there yet. How much vehicles have in Maracas police station, boy, and how far that police station really is from Maracas Beach? What is really going on? I find that it was real weird. For a place like Maracas for that to be happening, and a police vehicle in reach there yet, something wrong, man. Something wrong somewhere, man.
Hey, good morning, Andy.
Go ahead, caller. Morning. Go ahead, caller. Short and sweet. Morning.
Pleasant good morning, gentlemen. Pleasant good morning, Andy Williams. But I'm ITK. Glad to see you on the program. Pleasant good morning to you. Lennox, pleasant good morning. Trinidad and Tobago. You could have choose anyways, but to choose the ground report. I want to say pleasant good morning to the Honorable Prime Minister for that wonderful speech. And my views, and this is my opinion, I love how she was talking to the MPs and them, and she makes sure and tell them, do not forget the lower class are the excellence of the United National Congress, the people who work hard to make sure that all they reach. The Guti she talking about, the people who have on the Guti uniform, who put on the Guti face, and when people cut track, they like to run, and they forget the people who cut the track. Well said, Mr. Prime Minister. Well said, Honorable. Well said, Honorable. Love you for that, Mr. Prime Minister. Look, tonight, all I have to say about that.
Lennox, Mickie, and my ground report family. God bless Trinidad and Tobago. Today should really be a red letter day in the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
Morning, Pastor John.
I believe that our Prime Minister, she could be the Prime Minister of any nation, even a first world developed nation on the earth. The speech was loaded, not with goodies, but with realities and truths and intelligence and excellence. You heard from a leader who had a vision. I don't know how we survived as a nation, having a leader for 10 years who did not have a vision. Every speech was marred by complaining, quarreling, cussing, abusing people. This is such a difference. It was a heart of love, a heart of compassion. And if after this speech, I want to encourage PNM supporters to listen to this speech that this woman made. And she doesn't break her promises. She keeps her word, and she encourages her MPs to do likewise. You could never be a diehard PNM, except you probably benefit financially, probably coffers when the PNM is in power. You should never be a diehard PNM. This country is poised for great things. The great news that ExxonMobil coming in here to do some deep water drilling and stuff. The news of opening back the UWI campus in Debe. Man, that speaks volume, because PNM did not have a vision for education. This one told you that the way out of poverty is education. She does not want the next generation of people dependent upon the handouts and hand-ups and the UN's, the CPEP programs and the URP, etc., etc., etc. She wants people to get jobs, a well-paying job. She said there are so many jobs that are available that has been hidden from the people. And the PNM made us feel that jobs cannot be found and had in this country, and brought a sense of hopelessness upon the people that they had to resort to ULP and these kind of jobs, temporary makeshift jobs to run and mind their family. And she's saying this must change. We must not have a next generation of CPIP and URP workers dependent upon that. Leave that for people who really, really cannot do better. And you know, when they were in power, they brought the URP and even included the program to the people who had children with cerebral palsy, etc. And this PNM government stopped it. Yes, she spoke about the safety and the protection of our citizens, the anti-home invasions policies and all these things. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. And we really have to pray and trust God to keep this government in power for as long as thing I want to find out about the home invasion stuff. I don't know if it's included in the amendment or in the bill. Let's say you invade my house, but my neighbor, because I live in a gated community, could render assistance. Is it legal or lawful that my neighbor could come to my assistance, whether in the house or in the yard, to help avert danger and to get rid of those crooks and bandits who have broken into my house? Even they might call and alert me that somebody's in the house looking around the yard, and maybe they call the police, but nobody comes because something has to be done and done urgently. If they are allowed under the law to take action on my behalf, you know what I mean.
Go ahead, Lamline. Go ahead. Morning.
Morning, Professor Andy, Mickie Kerr, and Lennox Smith. Good morning to you all. PIP. Padarat has hit it on the nail. Penny in pajamas and the people sleeping. And you know what? Why I'm saying that, and I'm going to juxtapose it on two statements. The president of PAN, Trinbago, and Penny has said she wants PAN in all the schools, and she has to be sleeping. During the period 2010 to 2015, going back to SCA, there was a continuous assessment component, VAPA, music in all schools, all primary school. A lot of these primary schools had a PAN side. They should go on as government primary school because of their excellence, and the only school to get 1 to 3 in SCA, a special music room was built for them to play PAN. That is in the heart of the south of Caroni Bridge. So she coming to raise
Caller,
two more minutes.
All right, Minister. We'll try not to make all here for yourself. 2 more minutes for the Honorable Defense Minister. Oh boy. Sorry about that, caller. He did call to just say 2 more minutes. I had to cut you because we had to get that interview. Next caller, go ahead. Call back if there's anything, caller.
Yes, morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, morning, Pitbull. Stickman. Yeah,
go ahead, Stickman. What's your thoughts on national security or what you think about the whole meeting yesterday?
No, I just want to back up what Mr. Carnad said concerning people who went to protest. They ain't protesting. They're afraid to come out and let people see their face, and they're afraid to call on the radio and call up Rowley name. And every time they think to share it, they're pushing it from because there's UNC. We saying they're not UNC. But what I'm saying, they're going to come out and fight and protest. People see them calling up Rowley name, and them kind of thing. They're trying to avoid that. And when it's smoke clear now and you cheer on, they're in front like they were there fighting all the time. And now I talking personally to them people in Diego Martin West, the UNC in Diego Martin West, when it's time to fight, they doesn't want to fight. They just hide. I hope they're hearing me. They doesn't come out and protest. They don't want to call you on the radio. They're afraid to call Rowley name. They want nobody see them campaigning against PNM. But when now UNC win, they'll push it for college UNC. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. Only be aware what you're doing, eh? That's what I say.
Thank you very much. Next caller, go ahead. Caller, morning.
Yeah, morning, Andy. Morning. The partner contribution.
Nice. Michael Lennox in studio.
Yeah, morning Mikey, morning Lennox. I just want to say something when you talk about service commission, right? Service commission does work. You can't just walk in and apply unless the government advertise for a position. That the only time the service commission will entertain an application. Unless they advertise for a certain position, then other than that you can't just walk in anymore and say dropping in application in service commission. There's advertise, and then I remember sometime in the back period and they put a freeze on hiring people. I don't know if that come off, or if not, if they now, whoever in charge of administration, if they could change the policy to say, well, right, we take in application, anybody could walk in and drop an application and then we pick from there however it go. But as is now, I don't think anybody could walk into service commission and just drop in application and say, I want to be this, I want to be that. They have to advertise if they want clerks. They have to advertise, okay, we're advertising for clerks, we're taking on clerks. We want cleaners, we're taking on cleaners. We want drivers, we advertise. You have to advertise first before you could drop in application. So you just can't just walk in. Well, young people go and apply, but no, you have to wait for the advertising first. Just like when police go in and advertise, they advertise, then you drop in your application. How does it go like that? That's how it is going with service commission at this point in time, unless they change the policy to say, well, anybody can come in and apply, and when they have vacancy, they call you for interview or however it will go. Right? I just wanted to put that out there now. So not just everybody will not rush to service commission and say, nah, it don't work like that. You have to advertise first, right?
Thank you very much. No point, next caller. Go ahead, next caller. Morning.
Yes, Andy, I'm so glad you take my call after the caller who's speaking about service commission. You hear me, Andy?
Loud and clear.
Right. So the caller, I hope you are listening still and you didn't just make a contribution. If the Prime Minister, who is in charge of the country, is directing the people to pull up the spaces in the government, is only obvious with common sense will let you know that will be done. They will be done, but I understand where you are coming from, and because of the minister who coming up right now, the security minister, I wanted to ask him since last night when I saw him, but he didn't pass close to me. Why didn't the police service see it fit was to sell out all those derelict vehicles and them and raise fund instead of trying to give police incentive for giving the most amount of ticket? The amount of derelict vehicles in all the police station and all over, all in the army, all in the fire services, anywhere the police have a base is a set of derelict vehicle. You could sell back these things. You don't have to ask somebody to do that. You are in charge. So people don't get despondent with that contribution stating, but you have to wait and you have to wait. Remember, the Prime Minister is opening the gate for you to go get something better to do. So what you going to do? Sit down and wait till they ask for a driver, until they ask for a cleaner, start flooding the place. Don't come and try to fool you with that. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Hi, good morning to Andy, Mickie, Lennox, and all the listeners at the Ground Report.
Nice. Trinidad and Tobago, we have the Honorable Defense Minister, Mickie Lennox. Well, Lennox, you go ahead by the time now, man. The Honorable Minister of Defense, the number one problem in Trinidad and Tobago as the Prime Minister mentioned a security that is a campaign promise. We heard the Defense Minister last night talking about the boats, the ministry and the boats and them that they went to fix to deal with the borders and the bringing the fight to the criminal elements. And wow, the godly minister stage, Mickie Lennox. Lennox, you go ahead. What's your...
Well, what I took away from the Minister of Defense's presentation last night was how stark, and how probably accurate our voice. It might have been a speculation to some extent at the time, but certainly how accurate our analysis of the deliberate conduct of the past administration to mothball, if you want to call that, to render fallow, if you want to call it that, to not utilize the nearly a dozen fast-moving patrol boats that were supposed to be 365 degrees monitoring our borders. And I think that, to me, again, I can't help it because I mean, we have been there. I have been there, and we have been seeing it. And here it is, of course, unfolding before our very eyes. Is a statement made by the Minister of Defense with respect to what we were speculating or saying that was happening. I remember Alan Roberts, of course, went down to Stobles Bay, and he, of course, filed videos as to the deliberate attempt, or I shouldn't say attempt, but deliberate conduct of the past government to keep those, of course, patrol vessels at the port there without, of course, utilizing them for the purposes of protecting our borders. And so, of course, the contraband, and maybe even the contraband in the sense of people trafficking, became a very important issue, but clearly was a practice as a consequence of the cat sleeping, and therefore the mice are playing, so to speak. And what has been inherited in terms of the repercussions of that, I don't think he focused on that, but certainly anybody with a modicum of common sense will draw the inescapable conclusion that if those boats were operational and if it was a priority for the last administration, we wouldn't have over 100,000 Venezuelans in the country today that are utilizing all of the physical and financial and other resources of the country, including that of police and courts and hospitals, because clearly they are part and parcel, let's face it, of the criminal elements in the country that requires, of course, the deployment of additional resources in order to treat with that. If we didn't have them, it means, therefore, we have to logically conclude that it would not have been. In other words, the number of crimes that the police had to focus upon would not be. And therefore, again, it has to be said that that's a serious indictment and a dereliction of responsibility, as well as unpatriotism, and of course, the neglect of the oath of
you have about 10 minutes,
of the last administration.
Yes,
that's where I would want to go from what I gleaned last night.
Oh boy, Mickie. Oh boy, anything for the minister before, again, the man of the moment, when it comes to crime and fixing, one of the most problem when it comes to foreign investors. Go ahead.
The most I can say is that he has been doing a great job. And I think Lennox posed the question. I know his time is limited, so we just have a reply from the goodly minister on what Lennox asked.
Well, the first thing with respect to the vessels, it was obvious over the years, and you made reference to the videos done by Minister Roberts, of how the naval assets had fallen into disrepair and disuse, so that our borders became porous. I don't know if you want to take your mind back to 2010 to 2015, when we had gone to court and we engaged in some arbitration and so on, and we were awarded some hefty sums. And the PNM tried to spin it that we had lost, but when it was, in fact, we had won the arbitration with respect to the vessels. The PNM during 2010 to 2015 tried their best to scuttle whatever arrangements we had in terms of acquiring OPVs. And we won the arbitration. Thereafter, we did what we had to do and we acquired the vessels. And once we acquired the vessels, and 2015 came when there was a change in a regime change, after that, they felt it necessary to, in essence, give the public the impression that what we obtained was substandard, when it was not. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew what had to be done to make it fully operational and to operate at full capacity and have it operate effectively, and they did not do it. Instead, what they wanted to do was acquire their own vessels so that they could line their pockets. And in doing so, this led to the depletion of our naval assets. And the consequence was you had almost 200,000 at one point migrants coming into the country. And when they came, it wasn't the doctors and the lawyers from next door. You also had some of the unwanted elements, and that's why we are seeing what we are seeing now. That's why Trend de Agua is here now. So we've done what they did not do, and we are at this point trying to ensure that we can bring the naval fleet back up to full capacity.
Oh boy, you talk about schools too. You talk about we will see in high-risk schools, police officers at the high-risk schools when school we open back. You talk about shutting down the oh boy, the stand your grounds laws, whereby you're putting laws in place to be able to protect the individual that try to protect themselves. As a lot you have talked about. You go ahead and touch on some of those things that you mentioned.
Hold on, you ready? Sorry. Yeah, I hope I don't lose signal because I'm going into an elevator. But what I alluded to were in fact manifesto promises. I made reference to the manifesto at the start of the speech last night, the report. And that manifesto is now government policy. So the promise to put police officers in high-risk school, that is necessary, having regard to what we are seeing now. We understand that we cannot disenfranchise the students, the perpetrators, until a court makes a final ruling on their behavior. So in the interim, whilst they are at school, whilst they are on suspension or given what they did if it warrants an expulsion, what we are going to do is, until the court processes them, they are innocent until proven guilty. They'll have the opportunity to finish their syllabus, but elsewhere. And they'll have an opportunity to, in essence, channel their negative energies in an environment where that kind of behavior might prove to be somewhat useful.
Nice. You also talk about a substantive prison, a substantive COP, top cop. And what was very controversial too a few weeks ago, what took the nation by storm, and the stance that they make is the big TV and access to prisoners, being able to be in prison and organizing and calling shots to the outside that have been raving havoc to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, Minister.
Well, that regrettably, because of the type of things we do in national security, I cannot, in essence, circulate the images we have, the video we have, so that the public can know what we know. But it is quite clear from one of the or two of the images that that TV came in under the watch of Marvelous Marvin, or Macaroni Marvin, if you want to call him that. And it is quite clear for those who know, and that these devices, smart TVs, they are electronic devices. So I sat and I listened to all of the ramblings coming out of the Prison Officers Association and so on about the Commissioner of Prisons having a discretion. He does not have a discretion, and the law is quite clear. The amendment is quite clear that electronic devices are prohibited article, so that the Commissioner of Prisons has no discretion to go against what the written law, the statute passed by Parliament, stipulated is the prohibited article. And these items, electronic devices, smart TVs are electronic devices. You only need an ounce of common sense to know that. but prisoners are able to bypass other forms of communication and use these smart TVs to, in essence, um, communicate with persons outside of the prison, even outside of the country, using Minecraft games like platforms like Minecraft, Roadblocks, Call of Duty, and so on. So that's why you can't have these articles in prison. Now, I understand what they were saying, that it's for recreation, and it should be in communal areas, but the images we have show that not there are prisoners who basically had control of these devices. They were not in communal areas. So and of course you will always find a counter argument to say, listen, there's good in this. There might be good in it so that the prisoners get to entertain themselves and so on. But when you can use something for good and there's also the possibility of using it for bad, you have to look at who you're dealing with and their propensity. They have a proclivity, prisoners, to do the wrong thing. It might be used for good for quite a bit of the population, but if you have 1% of that 1% using it for the wrong thing can be disastrous to many people. The wrong thing can cost people their life. And that is what has been happening, and we are clamping down on that.
Nice. You also picked up on for your colleague, because you're a minister in the Ministry of Homeland Security, on the basis of opening all these SRPs inside of the whole core, and including have supported the new COP when it coming to the state of the emergency and the dent that you all are putting in the crime situation or in the criminal elements within our country, within the prisons and outside the prisons this far. What's your statements or comments on that?
Well, with respect to the absorption of the 800 or so SRPs, that is necessary because it gives us an immediate bump in terms of augmenting the strength of the TTPS, because SRPs obviously would not be operating at full capacity. The force, without them fully absorbed, would not be operating at full capacity. So that is something that was a very good initiative, and it augmented our strength. And you are seeing the results, and you will see the results.
Nice. And most importantly, if it is Mickie or Lennox don't have anything else to ask you, all of a sudden your constituency, whereby the people of Tocos and the Grande Valencia love Wayne Sturge, including the Pitbull of radio, and have that confidence in Wayne Sturge, delivering to the people of Tocos and the Grande Valencia the situation whereby all of a sudden your constituency have been the highlight of all kind of crime situation, including kidnapping or suitcase or what you have to say to your constituents, and what warning would you give to the criminal elements out there in that feel that they could come to your constituency and rain havoc in Tocos and the Grande Valencia Motura Tamatlot?
Well, the first thing is I'd like to separate the suitcase incident from all the other major incidents which took place. That is a love affair, in a sense, gone wrong. And that is not something any government can deal with in the short term. That is something that is dealt with in the long term by a change in mindset when the government, through education, also with the help of the religious bodies and so on, when they, in essence, can help to mold and change mindsets from a very young age, so that we inculcate the right values into our young people when they grow up, so they know how they handle heartbreak and things like that. But quite apart from that, there have been kidnappings. Kidnappings and home invasions are crimes that usually rear their head and increase exponentially when there's a stagnation. We are tasked with bringing the economy out of that. We are on the way, I know that we have some serious budgetary constraints, but we are on the way. But the other types of crimes that have been becoming popular in Togo Sandigandi, these are crimes that stem directly from fallout relating to URP and a desire of certain criminal elements from Karapo and Maloney and other places who want to come to Sandigandi and control the URP. There was a bit of a internecine warfare. There are gangs in the Valencia and Sandigandi district, two gangs in particular, the resistance gang being one of them, and there was in essence a sort of a power struggle. So there's basically a battle for turf. So and many of the murders and shootings that took place resulted. They were as a direct result of things happening in the URP and changes being made.
Wow. Lennox, Mickie, go ahead, Lennox.
Yeah. Finally, for me, Minister, you did mention that the 2025 general elections manifesto of the UNC coalition of interest. You did say that it has been made national policy or the government policy, and you also mentioned some figures. Could you just regurgitate that for us in relation to the 100 days so far of the administration? You did meet some qualifying numbers. Could you just share with us
it off the top of my head. I don't have the talking points with me, but what I highlighted, I held up the manifesto. It's a 60-point crime plan. There are 60 months, and we have 60 points. 60 months in our term, 12 lives being 60, and 60 initiatives. And what I highlighted was the 12 that we have more or less embarked upon in a significant way. Some are basically completed. The restructuring of the Ministry of National Security has been completed. The creation of a Ministry of Defense completed. The creation of a Ministry of Home Affairs completed. That's 3 completed. You have we are somewhat along the way with respect to 3 others, and you've seen 2 out of the 3. Those 2 would be the stand your ground policy, which is there's a bill. And in that bill, you also have created the offense of home invasions. So you have 1, 2. That's initiative number 1, initiative number 2, and initiative number 3 would be to change the laws to allow citizens to have firearms in their homes so that they can repel the invasions of the criminal class. So 2 out of the 3, but we've started and we are quite far in terms of 1 and 2, initiatives number 1 and 2. We've completed 6, 7, and 8. And I forgot to mention, we've also set up a Ministry of Justice. That was another initiative. So that's 4 and 3, 7 initiatives. I made reference to a few others that the Prime Minister has already embarked upon, made announcements, and things are on the way. The restructuring of URP was one. The police in schools was the other. I can't remember all of the top of my head. But I meant by the close of the speech last night and the talking points I had before me, I was able to identify 12 initiatives that some of which are completed and some of which are far gone along the way and will be completed, we believe, by the end of the year.
Nice. One caller, one blogger or called or sent a voice note asking when it comes to the standard grounds laws that if they live in a gated community, because he say he lives in a gated community and it have a league, one of their neighbors, a home is being invaded, but the 2 houses down or the house next door have a legal firearm based on the standing ground committee. Could that person attend to help their neighbor that living in the community? in the same gated community?
Well, that's a very interesting question. As it stands, the answer is no. But now that you raise it like that, and because the law basically deals with persons who are occupants of the property, the household, it wouldn't extend to neighboring households and so on. So if you have an occupant of a household and someone invades your household, and someone living with you or staying with you, they can also jump in and defend. But it doesn't apply to your neighbor's house. If there's an attack at your neighbor's house down the road, you are not under threat. What you should do, since you are not under threat and the neighbor is under threat, is you should try to raise an alarm and call the police and probably alert as many neighbors as possible. What you cannot do, since you are not a part of that household, is venture out and launch an attack. The law wouldn't cover that, as I understand it.
Wow. Well, your closing comments now based on the Prime Minister on the whole, with all which she mentioned, she sent a threat to the banks, First Citizens, Republic Bank. She sent a threat to all these various institutions. She also sent a threat technically to CEOs and chairmen of boards and all those various things. When it coming to corruption, she sent a threat to MPs and ministers when it coming to, if you're not doing your work, you will be fired or be clout or be tapped or however it go. She break it down by, wow, like a Burkina Faso kind of situation. What's your take on the leader and Prime Minister, you being one of our number one supporters, because as she said, national security is one of our most objective in dealing with, because she promised the people must be saved. What's your thoughts on all what was said by her, you being a part of the cabinet?
Well, objectively speaking, I think it was a very powerful and insightful speech. She basically foreshadowed what she intends to do with those who go astray. And so she's basically signaled, get your house in order or else. So I think that's a welcome move. And I hope those who are errant would heed caution. I am not. I heard all that was said. I don't climb any heights, so nobody could accuse me of.
Yeah, but that's why no one access. She mentioned too about it have people. She didn't say one individual. She say she's not the same person, and it have individuals that going to meet with big boys at Hyatt, Lime, and Dole. She organized to bring those individuals to the UNC membership and talk wherever it says she have to talk. But you go ahead. God, that was our next thing.
The first time I went to the Hyatt since 2013 was a couple of Fridays ago, and that was at the invitation of the U.S. Embassy for their celebrations, the Independence Day celebrations. But I am not one to frequent the Hyatt. I don't have friends in high fleeters, elites, as they call them, so I'm not worried about anything like that. But it's a good word of caution for those who do, because she's right. These people, these elites who play both sides, they're not your friends. And if need be, they'll throw you under the bus. And the thing is, we are here basically to work for all of the people, and those who are most vulnerable, and that's what we intend to do. We are not here to cut deals and make deals with the elites.
Nice. Your closing comments to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Your closing comments to them before you leave.
Well, closing comments in essence would be we are begging for some patience. We are working hard, but there are many people making demands that we do in 10 weeks what the last government didn't do in 10 years. So we are trying to do 10 years, undo 10 years of decline, 10 years of mismanagement, 10 years of corrupt practices, and that would not happen overnight. So there has to be some level of patience and understanding. But at the end of the day, everybody would win. I'm certain everybody would win when we do what we need to do and root out what we need to root out.
Nice. Trinidad and Tobago, the most grassroots MP minister that the Pitbull have ever met, really and truly. And if it is he's a man say something or he doing something, I have seen with my own two eyes, he does. So grassroots, because remember I gave you all the story that he went to swear in as a minister in a old Tida car. And from there, park up with an old Tida car when I driving at the Radisson Hotel, I think, for the little after swearing in event. I park up in between parados and this and that and dress normal. I'm going to say that I and all learned that used to be just a simple maxi taxi conductor. Till I didn't believe that, and he called the driver, the owner of the maxi, in front of me to ask him about the days of when he used to conduct maxi. And his whole education life, I tell you, is a real ambition. His whole educational life and where he is now, one of the #1 top criminal lawyers, didn't start it early, and he did mention to many youths and many people that education don't have no time bar. And that look, from doing all of that, conducting maxi, doing this, doing that, to now being a #1 when it coming to law in Trinidad and Tobago. I must tell you, keep up the good work, stay down to it, man, and you are an emblem of hope for everybody in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, Minister of Homeland Security.
Thank you, and you and your team enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes, man.
Bye-bye.
Yes,
Thank you very
Lennox
much
Smith.
for your presence, sir.
Oh boy, like Mikey thing get in trouble, like it cut off.
Yeah, it appears so, and I am seeing part of myself. I am sure that the population are wondering what kind of half-picked duck is that. But of course, the voice is solid, and I think the information is equally very poignant and very critical. And once again, of course, we saw this an exercise in true democracy, the resetting of Trinidad and Tobago morally, ethically, economically, socially, physically as well. And I think it augurs well for the moving of Trinidad and Tobago, including, of course, equitable distribution of the country's resources. No longer would a 1% command the 80% of the resources of the country, and people feel comfortable with that. Thus, there must be disquiet. There will be revolutionary ideas of a negative nature, and I don't want to recall what has transpired in the past, but to say moving forward with a government that has its eyes fixed on the equitable distribution of the country's resources can only augur well for the advancement of Trinidad and Tobago. You said it, Andy, that of course we are looking at the Singapore of the West that Trinidad and Tobago have missed in the past under an organization that has morphed into a criminal enterprise and have been in office for too long. I'm talking about the PNM, and therefore, of course, really and truly is simply ad nauseum, is sickening at this point in time as they try to hoodwink and deceive the population into some area by, of course, specious and spurious arguments that really and truly has no place in current and contemporary Trinidad and Tobago. So people have a wonderful rest of the day. God bless, of course, and see you tonight on the corridor transformation. We didn't have none last night for obvious reasons, because most people would have been tuned in to, of course, the exercise last night, 100 days of the first 100 days of the new administration under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and of course that of the coalition of interests.
Nice. So Trinidad and Tobago, our time is up. We are so sorry about that. But you all heard a whole lot this morning. And I'm sure each and every one of you are pleased, so pleased. Don't forget Corridor Transformation tonight. Yours truly, Lennox Smith, will be on fire at 8 p.m. Yes. So make sure lockdown. So we will go into all what the Prime Minister said, Wayne said, Dr. Barry Padap, Dr. Eli Zachary, real people had said a lot. So on behalf of Michael Kerr, better known as Mickie K, or Lennox Smith, better known as the Big Word Man, I'm Andy Williams, better known as the Pitbull of radio. We are out of here. Don't forget, tomorrow, please go at same time, same place, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on social media, and from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Dial Trinidad and Tobago, Dial the Caribbean. We are out of here.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.